Hello, Orville Nation. Welcome everybody, and let me just take care of one more thing here, and we will be starting right after the intro. And yes, we are back. We are back, and the Orville is better than ever, guys. Here we go. All right, guys. Wow. The Orville is better than ever, folks. What an amazing, amazing premiere it has been. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Hello, Rapunzel. And there we go. Let me just get rid of that echo. Okay. There we go. All right. Hello, Rapunzel. Hello, Medallion. Yes, it's party time. Hello, MJ, FR Props. Oh, Matt. Wow. Is that the name of your props company now, huh? Well, you're gonna have to tell us about that. Hello, Mark Lazurth. Hello, Aiken. Good to see you, all of you guys. Hello, Lord Thoth. Louise. Captain Phantom Nerd. Adega is listening at the grill. Awesome, Adega. Enjoy your dinner. Bon appetit. Hello, Resolute. Hello, Nate. Those of you guys who are going to be joining us, look, I'm sending the invites out right now. I was on my way here, and I got like I drove by a rock concert or something. I don't know what it was, and I got stuck in traffic. So anyway, hello, Mac. Good to see you, Trey. Good to see everyone in here, guys. Jet, good to see you, Jet, man. And Purple Valkyrie, Galinda, everyone, guys, everyone. Thank you for being here. Very exciting day. All right. While I gather everybody who's and Maria, there she is. While we gather the gang here, because we're going to be talking Orville for a while, I'm going to ask the chat a question, and this is the first question we're going to ask the chat. From 1 to 10, what would you guys rate the first episode of Orville season 3, Electric Sheep? What do you rate the first episode, guys? From 1 to 10. And we'll see. We'll see what we'll see. Hello, Andy. Good to see you, everyone. And let me Rapunzel says 8. Well, I don't know if that's 87. Okay, gotcha. And let me just make sure the panel is gathering. So let's give me 1 second. And yes, I got stuck in like a massive traffic jam. I was afraid I wasn't going to make it. And here we go, making sure. Alrighty. And Making sure. And okay. And one more second. Just making sure. Okay. Up. There's one more. Let's see. And where did she go? There she is. All right, guys. Good to let's see. And yes, they're gathering backstage. The panel of Orville experts. And let's see what you guys have come up with. I was let's see. 1 second. Give me 1 second. And there we go. Nate, do me a favor and DM me. I don't know. I can't find you. I don't know why I can't find you all of a sudden. Send me a DM, Nate, if you can. I don't know. I don't see Nate. Oh, okay. All right. I see. The name's different. Okay. I see it. Okay. All right, guys. So, Rapunzel says an 87. Yeah, maybe I'll do that later. Mark says 8. Mark Lazarus says 8 out of 10. Jet says a 9. Lord Thoth, 9 out of 10. Captain Fandom Nerd, and there he is backstage. Because yeah, he's there he is. Imagine a British section when I'm saying this. This one goes to 11. Okay. Yeah, I will pull it. Lahu. Andy says 9. Louise says 10. Matt Ryan, MJFR Props says 8. Maria says 9.5. Hit close to home for me. Really, Jet? Okay. Elihu says 42. LDG. And Medallion says 9.5678910. Awesome. IUDFR 8.5. Hello, Anna. Anna, I want to see what Anna thinks. Good to see you, Anna Folkenstall. Yes, 1 to 10, Anna. Not so much Bortis, so not a 10. We'll see what Anna gives us. All right, guys. Let's bring in let's bring a little bit of the panel. And we will be talking spoilers. I don't want to talk too much spoilers, but we will definitely be talking spoilers. Galinda says, I'm with Elihu. It's a 42. Okay. Alrighty. Let's bring a little bit. When you guys are on camera, I will bring you guys in. And there you go. All right. First of all, let me bring in one of our fellow people in the. Hello, Larry. Larry, good to see you. Let's bring in somebody who's rating this as a 42. Elihu Who, welcome, Elihu Who. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, fellow weirdos.
How is everything?
Everything's copacetic. Kind of actually felt a little earthquake this morning.
Oh, you had an earthquake this morning. Oh,
It was in northeast, but I felt a little shaking. So hey.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's I guess that's the common thing for you guys out there.
Hey, we call it a foot massage.
A foot massage. JRC 99 US is 43. All right. Let's bring in Elihu. Tell us what's coming up on your channel.
Well, I'm getting ready to trying to do a little parody video of Picard, but I'm trying to get around a little Paramount. Every single time I do, I get my little possible copyright infringement, so I got to try to work my way around that. Otherwise, my next signing show is going to be talking possibly about NEOs or new discovery of planets. because a new discovery on our planet got discovered about 53 light years away.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, your astronomy stuff is really interesting. You guys, we're going to want to check out Elihu's channel, and Elihu, if you can go ahead and put in your channel, I would appreciate it.
Yes.
Hello, Gap gives it an 8.5. That's great. Gives it an 8.5. And hello, Sherry. Good to see you. Next up, guys, is Captain Fandom Nerd, formerly known as Captain Trek, but he is done with Trek. Well, he's done with regular Trek anyway. He's not done with Seth Trek, let's hope. And welcome to Captain Fandom Nerd. Hello, Cap.
Hey, what's going on?
Good to see you, my friend. It's awesome to see you on camera. I feel privileged. I'm trying to. I pinch myself to see if this is real. How are you, and what's up with your channel, Cap?
What's up with my channel? Not too much right now. Been taking a break of Morning Brew. Gonna be back to it on Friday. But other than that, no, not too much. All I can say is wow. It's
about the episode, right? Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Awesome. All right, let's bring in the rest of the panel. And hello, Nate. Good to see you, Nate Knows. And welcome, Nate. How are you?
Actually, I'm pretty good today. I have to quote Kelly. I'm sorry. To quote Ed and Kelly, today is a good day because the Orville dropped season 3, and my oldest son graduated from college today. I mean, high school today.
Congratulations.
High school today. He's on his way to college.
Awesome. Congratulations, man. So you had a packed day, huh?
Yeah, like I said, today was a good day, and I had a hell of a steak. Hold on 1 second, please.
Yes, congrats. Everybody's congratulating you. And Larry, we saw before, had put in a 9.9999 for the episode review. Yeah, for the rating of the episode. All right, let's see. There's a few more floating in here, including Maria whenever she sets up. And all right, guys. Well, let me just ask you guys first on the panel. Were you surprised? There's only 3 of us, so I'm not going to go in order. Whatever you guys want. Were the 3 of you guys? Were you surprised at all by this?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm surprised.
Or Nate.
Can you guys understand me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, because I'm just getting a little static in your end. Okay, as long as you guys can understand me. Sorry. Go ahead, Captain.
You're muted, Cap.
Thank you. No, I was a little surprised, but overall, just excited.
Let me stop you 1 sec. Elihu, I think we're getting a little bit of an echo from you. If you can just mute yourself until you talk. Thanks. Okay. Oh, okay, he's coming. All right. Sorry, go ahead, Cap.
Oh no, that's that. I was just gonna let Nate talk.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just surprised at the scope. It was like watching the difference between the 3 seasons. It's like watching original TOS and then going straight to Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It was that big of a difference. It was that much of an upgrade.
Sure, that's a good analogy.
I love the new engine room.
Yeah. Now, did you guys notice anything different about the tone of this first episode?
Yeah, it was a little bit more serious, lighter on the comedy.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think that we might be? Do you think that I personally think and we'll address this more later, as we get into the conversation. But I think that we're going to be seeing more as the episodes progress, I think we'll be seeing more of the comedic component. And perhaps at the very beginning, this episode was done kind of to just establish the show as a serious sci-fi show. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they're really leaning more to the sci-fi than a comedy.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, I'll be right back.
Okay. Cap, what about you? Any thoughts on the tone?
I think the episode called for a more serious tone, considering how the second season ended. But I do think there's going to be a little bit more comedy than was in this episode, in the upcoming episodes. But I do think it's going to maintain a more serious sci-fi tone than in the past.
I'm back.
Than in the past. All right. Elihu, are you fixed? I guess.
I believe so.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah. What about the let me before we go back to well, go ahead, Nate. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say the addition of the fighter kind of remind me of the cartoon Star Blazers, because Wildstar had that one fighter that sat right between the cannons. So instead of a whole bunch of fighters, they had that one fighter. I don't understand why they give them just one fighter. Why not give them a bunch of them?
Well, I think they're just like testing it out. I think we'll get more. Yeah.
What was the original question? Because I was trying to reset my sound. Sorry.
Yeah. No, so we were talking about the tone, the difference in tone of this first episode. And let me just read Medallion. It was nice for them to come out of the gate with such a heavy episode to show New Trek how it's done, how to tackle heavy themes and emotions. Yeah, I think it's I think this first episode is you're right, Medallion. I think this first episode is a statement. By the way, we see the tardigrade again. The tardigrade character. I do think this first episode is a statement and establishing the Orville as serious sci-fi and as a major contender on the playing on the playing field. And
Shots fired.
Shots fired. So, and Nate, Elihu, well, any thoughts on the tone of this first episode?
I actually enjoyed the tone the way it was, especially the part where Dr. Finn had the scene where in the dining room. I'm like, okay, the scene opened up. I'm like, wait, what's wrong with my sound? I turned the volume all the way up. I'm like, where is the sound going on? All I hear is her shuffling in the furniture and her breaking down. And I'm like, holy shit! Thank you, Seth, for not choosing to score this scene. It made it more emotionally impactful. I'm like, wow. As soon as the scene ended, the music was blasting. I'm like, oh my gosh. I love the way he did this. He had the when he was in space scenes, he had the background score for the happy uptone. But when it came to the emotional part, there was a subtle, soft part, like the guy was channeling Hans Zimmerman with this subtle tone in the background. I love this episode.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Actually, Medallion touches upon something here, which I'm going to get to. Seth said there will be a variety of episode stories and tones. So don't worry if you want more comedy. They're not leaving behind their the signature. Let's address this one sec now that Medallion's brought it up. When they did seasons 1 and 2, the Orville kind of captured lightning in a bottle, I think, in the sense that they found like just the right formula of comedy, especially in season 2, just the right formula. You agree?
You got super chat. You got super chat.
Oh, super chat. Thanks.
Don't sound super chat. Hey.
Thanks. Just the right mix of comedy and drama and action. And I think that this first episode was done to establish itself. It's very purposeful, and you watch, like, you see like Ed's face and Kelly's face I noticed a lot in Ed and Kelly, and not so much with like Tala, because Tala's always very serious as the head of security, but you also noticed it in Scott Grimes, in Gordon, and a little bit in Jay Lee. So I think that we're gonna. This was done on purpose. This first episode, and like Medallion says here, we're gonna see different combinations, different tones. It's gonna be it. I think we're in for a roller coaster ride, to be honest, guys. Let me just do that super chat. Maria. By the way, guys, just before I forget, we had somebody. We had, I think we had Lord Thoth join the community. So thank you for joining the membership, Lord Thoth, at the very beginning. I appreciate that. And now that the cheers, guys. Now that the Orville is back, we're going to be doing so much more. Happy 3-year. Maria, happy 3-year anniversary. Yeah, excited for the amazing things coming. Support. Okay, thank you, Maria. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. But thank you, my friend. Guys, we don't have. We're not next month. We're going to be doing the 3-year anniversary, and we're going to have a great month. July is going to be a special month for Orville Nation. So thank you, Maria. I appreciate that, and don't forget, guys, to sub to Maria. And I'm going to be putting up her channel right now. Yeah, Seth should have been given control of Star Trek. Man proved himself with the Orville. He's very capable. On that note, let me just say that Seth, at some point, I think Seth at some point will be offered to do something for Star Wars down the road. That's my gut feeling.
He already did that on Family Guy.
But I mean real Star Wars.
They should have hired him to do Kenobi, because Kenobi sucks. It blows ass.
I actually like it.
There's a lot he likes it. Okay, but
I don't hate it.
It's kind of destroying. You know,
Well, see, that's the thing. There are a lot of people out there, because I love Star Trek books, but I don't consider the EU as canon. I know a lot of people do. So for me, it doesn't destroy anything. It's just, not great. But I don't.
I mean, it makes the line from the original Star Wars when Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi duel, when he tells him, "When I last saw you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master." When you have Episode 3, him basically handing Obi-Wan his ass and dragging him through fire. He's already the master, and Obi-Wan's the broken coward. Even ran from. Let's not ruin a good vibe talking about Obi-Wan.
I did find fault in that. Yeah.
Okay,
I found
so guys, let me.
We're not here. So.
We're talking about Orville.
Let's get off Obi-Wan. Let me just say, Seth doing Star.
I got my pickles. Bourbon.
Seth doing Star Wars with Family Guy. I meant what I mean is live action. I meant live action. And Disney Star Wars is real Star Wars in my opinion, but at the same time it's not. So it's missing something, and I think that's what whatever it's missing, I think Seth would be able to identify. Okay. So I'm gonna. You might want to.
I tell you what Star Wars should be missing. It should be missing Kathleen Kennedy.
Nate, you might want to mute yourself when you're eating, just so you know.
Oh, my bad.
All right, guys. Nerd fight. This is Diego. Yeah.
No fight.
All right, let's go really quick. What is your first favorite parts of this episode? And I'm asking first, everybody in the chat, I want you to write, what is your favorite part of this episode? And I'm going to start on the panel with Captain Trek. Captain Trek, what is your favorite part of this episode? Or one of your favorite parts?
That new fighter, when it finally comes in, and it's awesome watching it fly.
That the sequence that was you enjoyed the sequence when they're testing it with
Absolutely,
Gordon?
yes.
Yeah. That was a great scene. What about you, Nate?
When the Kalon came out of Quantum Drive and ambushed them, and Ed did that cool move by hiding in the planet and using the shuttle to make them think the orbit will explode. I thought that whole scene, that was the
Submarine
whole special
warfare.
effect. Yeah, that whole special effect. Just look, I swear to God, I had to pause it and said, "Am I watching a movie or am I watching a TV show?" I mean, that whole scene is full of screen grabs.
Yeah. Elahi, what was one of your favorite parts?
I liked the discussion that Charlie had with Isaac. She basically laid it out straight, like, okay, this is her introduction to the audience. It was her introduction to the audience, basically who she is as a character. And it actually worked well with the scene. It's like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. And she reflects upon that even up until the final end of the episode, when she says, I didn't do this for you. I love her character. It wasn't an automatic 180 like, the character got to change her heart. No, she stuck with the crowns. I love that choice for Seth.
Okay, Yitza. Hello, Yitza. Good to see you. The white spiky alien, says Yitza's his favorite part.
How you feeling? Well, my hips may be a little
the sexy alien, says Yitza. The opening was epic, says Lord Thoth. Pickles was a great choice to eat while the mic, says Rapunzel.
My bad.
No, Nate. By the way, if you look at the message I wrote you on the private chat, just read it 1 sec if you can.
Okay, no problem.
The intro, Medallion says this episode legit made me tear up a couple of times. It was harsh to hear people talking down to Isaac. It was hard. And isn't it interesting how so many different issues? Listen, as a psychologist, I thought that the issue of isolating somebody, first of all, bullying, isolating, I thought that was extremely well addressed. Even though they're talking about an AI, right, an artificial intelligence, it was very. Medallion's right. It was hard to hear, and the issues of isolation and suicide and bullying were extremely well presented and very necessary to be. They really made social commentary with this episode. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Well, I have one thing. When we talk about that subject, just for your channel's sake, because you know how YouTube is, we should say self-deletion.
Okay.
Because if you use the actual words, YouTube sometimes strike your channel or label it something different. So we'll say self-deletion. And in Isaac's case, I think it actually fits.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, yes, self-deletion does seem to fit better with Isaac.
I was actually looking at the episode 3 list, and basically Seth told us what the episode was about by the title alone. Electric sleep. What was Isaac doing? He was electronically sleeping. The next episode, Shadow Realms. Is this dream world that Isaac gets to dream now? Episode 3, Morality Paradox. Is this some kind of confusion, that time paradox that they're actually going to go through, since they haven't went through a time paradox yet, like Star Trek has? 4, Gently Falling Rain. Could this be the musical? I mean, is he actually trolling us with these titles? Because that's something Seth would do.
Let me just read what the chat answered for this question, by the way, guys, really quick. Favorite part was when Isaac comes back. Norm McDonald scenes, says Jet. When I pushed play, says Maria. Andy says the mess hall sets the whole tone. It did, yeah. I like the moment the Doc Finn tried to have a heart-to-heart moment with Isaac at the end. Says IUDFR. Medallion, we literally had that scenario in Strange New Worlds. We did with submarine warfare. We did, yeah.
He said he's throwing Star Trek hard this season.
And it was It was I think it was a lot better done in the Orville. But yes, rest in peace, Norm. Rest in peace. There's going to be a lot of emotional moments this year with Norm. I like the moment that Doc Finn tried to have a heart to heart. Oh, sorry, I read that. Finn family's journey was very moving. It was, Galinda. Charlie is a Twitter activist in my eyes. That's funny, Anna. Anna, we have to have you back to talk about your props and to talk about everything with Matt. We got to have you and Matt back together. George Peter Gatsis, good to see you. The extremely talented George Peter Gatsis, guys. It was an okay episode, very formula-driven story. Nothing new that hasn't seen before. The hiding in the clouds was very used. Isaac resurrection resurrection was that only new element of originality. Okay. The albino cactus lady alien says medallion. Yeah, the albino cactus lady. ASMR pickles. Oh, Nate.
No.
Nate, that's a great topic for your new channel. Thank you, Jet. ASMR pickles. That's a good idea.
Oh Lord.
Pinhead lady says
I would have to do that because I'm not built for OnlyFans.
Bullying is something that pretty much the whole fandom can relate to in some way. Yeah, by the way, guys, and I don't want to get into a negative topic, but considering everything that's happened in the last few weeks, when you travel a lot, you see that bullying is not as present in other parts of the world as it is in the States. Sometimes you have to ask yourself why that is. There is maybe it's the way kids are educated, but there's a lot of improvement to be done there. Really, there is, because it's not like that everywhere. Kayla inside. Yeah, electric sheep. Yeah, Nate. I mean, like you said, electric sleep, but it's electric sheep. Yeah.
Yeah, Philip C. Dick.
All right, guys. Now we have somebody else. Backstage, and good to see you, my friend. Let's give a nice warm welcome to a wonderful human being, even though he's a Sith Lord on the side. Welcome, Kylo, Tim Possible. Good to see you, Tim.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
What's up?
Good to see
Adrian.
you.
I mean,
Good
Tim.
to see you all. Pretty good episode. Yeah, I just finished the rest of it, so yeah, I'm hot on the tracks from it.
Okay, you want to give us your first rating on it? Everybody else has. You want to give us your first rating?
Like out of 10, or?
Yeah, it's out of 10. Yeah.
I would say at least an 8. Like, it was pretty solid. It really hit at home. Like, it makes you feel for a robot that doesn't essentially have emotions, but they keep alluding towards that. It's like, you don't have emotions, but you do. I don't know much about the race of those beings or whatever. I know the finale. I like the turn on that. They're like, no, we don't want you to even be a part of it. You don't feel anything. You're killing people. And they're bringing up that Charlie character, the new character. Man, she's just like hardcore. Calling the word uses like machinist or whatever she was saying about
masochist. Masochist.
Yeah, she's like, keep using that. She was saying that to Gordon. I was like, wow, she's dark. But it was like consistent with their character throughout. And I like the line, I didn't do it for you. She did it for the kid. And so I thought it was pretty solid. So probably around 8. I don't think it was super complex, but I did like the fact that they were integrating like someone's personal health in a way, and even for a robot. But yeah, they also gave his perspective too. So yeah.
Let me catch up. I see you backstage, Lord Thoth. Let me catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll bring you in. It's Ben Solo. Yes, it's Ben Solo in a Captain Kirk shirt.
Yeah.
We gotta have Tim in completely in Kylo character here. We're talking about having him back for that. Go ahead, Lahi.
Remember, Dr. Finn said in season 1, "I'll be Obi-Wan."
Yes, she did. Yeah. Oh, got to go to sleep. Yeah, it's very late for you, Anna. Okay. Good night, Anna. We'll talk.
Good
Jess says,
night.
I was Isaac when I was 17. They went woke, but they did it in a genuine way. They said, "On life is forever." So I feel a life is forever. So I feel under the circumstances that Isaac did was an unsuccessful attempt. Okay. We're gonna personify the heck out of that Kalon because we love him. Hey, Mr. Tickle Truck. I am of the belief Isaac does have emotions, but pretends not to. I think Kalons have emotions. If they have self-preservation and willing to kill, they have emotions. That is a good point, and I do think we've been speculating a lot about this, guys. There's probably a lot more to the Kalon than we're going to be, and we're going to be learning more about them. Maria's on her way.
Yeah.
Go ahead, on you.
Yeah, because last season, I think it was season 2, we found out when they were built to be the helpers of the original Kalons, so they turned on them. So basically, what made them snap to turn on? That's an emotional response or a logical response. They never actually discussed that if it was emotional or logical. Because then all of a sudden they just go, okay, we're killing all organics. Like, why? You just killed your race. What do you have against all the other organics? Is that hate? Is that an advanced programming thing? Hopefully Seth will actually answer this little loophole. Plot hole.
I think the Kalons have taken emotions and broke them down to its logical, analytical components.
Like Vulcans.
Interesting.
Because I think they want to kill all biologicals because they're afraid. They fear they will do to them what their makers did to them. So it's fear that motivates them.
That is a good point. And that's what Medallion 2 was saying. And Galinda says, I think he doesn't know how to interpret his emotions yet. That's possible. Let me bring in Lord Thoth we have backstage. Just really quick, Ben Thatcher, my theory on emotions relates to their creators, giving them the ability to feel. Okay. It's old code that's starting to reactivate. Okay. And evolve. Great. Good to see you, Ben Thatcher. Thank you for joining us. And welcome, guys, to Lord Thoth. Lord Thoth, it's been a while. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's an honor to be here. Gentlemen of the panel, everybody in the chat, hail. It's such a great opportunity to be here to talk to you about really good science fiction for a change. I know we've been so negative about all the stuff that we've been seeing in recent history, and then we get to see season 3, episode 1 of the Orville. And I just wanted to shout with glee that I didn't have to throw something at my screen because it was awful writing. This was great writing, great show.
I'm confused.
Thank
What the
you for
fuck are the
inviting me.
gentlemen?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Who are you talking to?
Lord Thoth, you tell, and really quick, what did you rate it in the chat? I don't remember what you rated this episode.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Okay.
I would have given it a 10 out of 10, but there was a few things that I had some issues with. I know there was a lot of... it really reminded me of Star Trek: The Motion Picture when they did that whole new fighter, and they spent 15 minutes flying around the ship, and it was a lot of fun, and I was grinning the whole time. But I thought, well, there's a lot of story they could get to here, but yeah, let's just have some fun. So it was a great show.
Yeah, and what Medallion is saying is basically what Nate is saying too. You guys are kind of saying the same thing. And listen, fear, not to quote Yoda or anything, but fear leads to this and to that, and it can lead to aggression.
Hey, you got a new member.
Sporking, my buddy Scotty Sporking News. Good to see you, Sporking, and thank you so much for joining, guys. Yes, I said that once the Orville started, we would start up with the memberships, and they are active now, guys. And we're going to be doing a lot of new stuff on the channel. So it's great to see you, and we're going to have our first members stream in the middle of the month. So awesome, Scotty. Thank you so much, my friend. And guys, if you haven't subbed to Scotty Sporking News Network, His channel is really taking off, and he tackles a lot of cool stuff, and he has a show called The Dump, and it is such a dumpster fire of a show. You guys got to check it out.
It's a great show.
It's
and
a
Hale's
great show.
porking. Hail Chris Persia too in the chat. Hail everybody.
Yes. Oh, hell, I didn't see Chris. Hey, Chris, and everybody. There you are. There's Chris.
And Philip.
Thank you. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to new track.
And you got another new member, dude. You just got another new member.
Oh, Chris.
That's awesome, Italian. Oh man, Chris, thank you, my friend. Thank you guys. Thank you, Chris Persia, for joining you guys. And
another one.
Galinda.
Thank you guys. Galinda. Thank you. We have this such a wonderful YouTube family here, guys. And what an amazing way to celebrate the upcoming 3-year anniversary of Orville Nation by having you guys join. I'm honored. I am honored. Galinda, Scotty, and Chris, and Lord Thoth, I think too. I missed at the beginning, I think. So thank you guys.
Welcome.
I'm not here. Take a voicemail.
Orville actor, Philip Gaming. Philip, I'm DMing you in case you want to jump in. All right. I want to ask Tim and Lord Thoth, because you guys weren't here when we first asked this question. Tim first. What was your favorite part of the episode?
I think it's probably the one with John, because it was like so unexpected. At first, I was like, all right, what's going on here? He's like hanging out with a spiky lady. It reminded me of Star Trek from J.J. Abrams. I know it's not people's favorite, but there's a scene with Chris Pine, and he wakes up with, I think, this orange-looking chick, and then Zoe Saldana or whatever her name is, the green girl, whatever, Gamora, shows up. But it kind of reminded me of that for some reason. But why I like it is because it was kind of silly, but then they put like the plot device in there about like, the internal thoughts being like really deep in, and it led the story across. So I really like that moment because it was so unexpected. So, yeah.
And you got another new member, PJ.
Oh.
JP. Or PJ.
Oh, Matt Ryan. Thank you, Matt. Weapons designer Matt Ryan. Thank you. Dark matter weapons designer and props builder and everything else that he's doing. It looks like he's going to be working on Stargate stuff now. And maybe he wants to join Anna and work on some Orville weapons. So we have to have Matt and Anna back. Thank you, my friend. I am honored, Matt. Thank you, my friend. You and Anna need to come back soon.
Hollywood needs to hire Matt.
And another new member. Look at this.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Look at the love.
Thank you, Caitlin Borders. I am honored. And Caitlin, I don't know you. If you have a channel, if you're creating, you need to let me know, and I will give you. What we do here is that all the channel members that are creators, YouTube content creators, we give them a wrench. Okay, so let me know if you have content on your YouTube channel. And I want to ask Lord Thoth. Thank you, Caitlin. Lord Thoth, what is your favorite part of the episode?
Well, that opening was just epic, and that's how you do an opening. It took me back to 1977, drive-in theater, seeing Star Wars on opening night. It was one of those things where it starts out kind of calm, and then bang, 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 and it just explosions and everything. Even though it ended up being a dream, I don't think it was so much a dream as in his recollection of what was happening during that battle, but it really took us back to season 2. It tied it in really good. It allowed you to. It's been a couple of years since we've seen the finale of season 2 of the Orville, so it kind of tied it all in. It got to show us how much the great writing and the great science fiction, and also the great people behind the screens doing all the CGI and the sci-fi effects on that team, and how top notch they are. It was awesome. Took me back to classic science fiction shows. So that opening was my favorite of the episode. Now, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I could talk about that was awesome.
Let me hold on. I want you to add one more thing. Let me just say thank you, Medallion, for popping in again today, and got some and for the initial thoughts. Great. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing your thoughts too, Medallion. Have an awesome day, my friend. Go ahead, Lord Thoth. Welcome,
Yeah,
Jet
no,
Sparks.
I think it was a well-written episode. I think that it gave us a lot of the stuff that we really wanted in a sci-fi show. So we got to really touch base with all the main characters. They all had a scene. It was a very emotionally impactful episode. There was a lot of things that really those of us who are true fans of this show have really been wanting. It's been like a desert for a couple of years, and they gave us it all in this episode. Now we can move forward and see some really great shows and episodes and writing in this season that's coming up. But I think it really allowed us to see uh, all of the main characters, and that's really what we want. Bortus wasn't as much in this episode as I would have liked, because he's one of my favorite characters. But R.I.P. Norm Macdonald, seeing Yaphet again up on the deck and saying, "Hey, we should all get bonuses," and so that was just, it made me laugh. And considering this, so this was a really great opportunity to see how a very difficult writing episode. We got to see a discussion about suicide. We got to see a discussion about all the deaths in war. All of the so the veterans my fellow veterans out there who saw the impact that war can do on family and friends. It was a very, very emotional episode, but yet you touched a little bit of humor in there once in a while, but nothing that took away from the episode. That was good writing. It wasn't something that was in your face. It was just a line or two here and there, but it showed you how much the writers love this genre and love this episode and love the Orville. So I just think that there were so many things to talk about, but that opening scene was my favorite.
Awesome. And let me say goodnight to Yitza. It's very late for Yitza. Good night, Yitza. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Mac, Trey, good to see you, Trey, from Max World Entertainment. Did anyone notice or mention already that Lamar was in bed with a horny white chick? a prickly white chick. Very good. That's funny. That's funny.
Aren't they all?
Good to see everybody. Jeff B, good to see you in here too. Let's see. I want to ask. All right, I want to have somebody on the panel ask a question to the chat. So I'm going to ask one of you guys ask a question to the chat and have the chat answer it, and the rest of the panel answer it. Who wants to volunteer for a question? If not, I'll ask.
I'll go.
Okay, Nate.
Go, Nate.
Okay, this question is out to the chat. I'm passing you the last. Do you think by the end of this season, Charlie Burke will come to like Isaac?
Okay. So the question is, will Charlie Burke like Isaac by the end of the season? What do you guys think about that? Let's go with the panel first. Cap, what do you think about that? Will Charlie Burke, will they reach a point where Isaac will grow on her?
I don't know. I think there'll be a respect earned, but I don't know about like. I don't know. It'll take some doing in one season.
Okay.
I think if we're looking at an optimistic future, like Gene Roddenberry's vision, and I think that's what Seth MacFarlane is doing here. He's trying to look at an optimistic view of the future that, yes, by the end of the season, they're going to hug it out. I think that they're going to come to a mutual respect and admiration for each other and their capabilities. I think we know that Isaac is really starting to show some emotion based on the end of this episode. So there's a little bit of calculations going on, but some emotion too as well. And I think he and Charlie are gonna kind of hug it out at the end. Whether one of them saves the other's life again, or I think there's going to be a quid pro quo here, right? I think that by the end, Isaac is probably going to do something that's going to either save Charlie's life or affect all of the lives of the crew. That's going to breed this newfound respect in her.
Unlike Star Trek, Seth can explain a character's decision with very few lines. The way she told Isaac, "I did not do this for you," she may end up looking toward the Finn's perspective of how they treat Isaac, and analyze that with the rest of the crew, because she does think in four-dimensional. She can think this sort of shit out. So she may end up coming to conclusions like, "Hey, this people actually love and care about him, but they're not the crew members. His kids care about him, but they're not crew members." I think she'll eventually come to understand with the sympathy and empathy of how the Finns treat him and respect him, and she'll end up treating and respect him, but never forgive him. That's just her character, but never forgive, because her best friend was killed by Isaac's actions. So I think she'll, like Captain said, she'll end up respecting him, earning his trust, but I believe she'll tell him, "I will never forgive you."
I think
remember what Talia told the Mocklin? Told Clyden, I will never forgive you. I'll be your friend." So it still stands with the characters.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is about what about the whole crew? Because do you think after the, it's going to take a while to get out of that, right?
I wanted to say something else. People are talking about getting a bridge cat, right? Well, Finn, if you guys remember the conversation, she had to go logical with them. But a logical reaction would be, "Hey, a companion, you're all alone here. A companion animal, get a cat." So maybe we can get a bridge cat with Isaac as a companion animal.
Go ahead, Tim. Finish your thought.
I just I definitely think they're going to set it up where there's some type of buddy mission where they have to team together, and there's this newfound respect for him. And but I also think it's what about everyone else that was hostile before? They mourned his death and they bring him back, and how are they going to move forward from that? Not everything's going to be like rainbows and butterflies moving forward. You think there's still going to be some sort of animosity towards him? I said I don't really have a question, but I mean, do you think they're going to be hardcore on it at first and then it's slowly going to drift, or?
I think it's kind of a reflection of real life. As soldiers, you go into battle and you don't like everybody that's beside you or behind you or in front of you. And in this case, his actions caused the death of thousands of people. That's huge, right? That is a huge thing to kind of get over. You have to realize that, his actions were not 100% under his control. Obviously there was mitigating factors that were involved in him doing what he did and his race doing what they did. And I think his end actions really went to the core of his character. So I think it's a journey here. This is a great character journey that we have seen so few in sci-fi in recent history, where he's got a long ways to go to get that trust of his crew again. But the main characters in the crew already know what he did and what he sacrificed and what he's going to do in the future. You've got the captain, you've got the XO, you've got the engineer. A lot of these characters, they feel that they kind of trust him, but he needs to prove that they have that trust, that they can support that trust that they've had in him. And we saw that in what happened with Gordon, right? And what he said, "I feel the same way you do, Charlie. I'm pretty upset about all this." So there's going to be a lot of situations that are going to happen, but that's conflict. That's what's so great about this. Setting up those conflicts for future episodes is just going to be awesome.
If you've noticed, when Isaac was in engineering and they came to talk to him, the crew member put her arm on Isaac, kind of looked at his endearings, like, "Hey, here's some kind of respect for you. You're going to be okay, Isaac," and walked away. Didn't just say, "Okay," and walked away. No, it was specifically kind of zoomed in, but not totally zoomed in. Like, "Don't worry, Isaac, you'll be okay." And he kind of looked down in shock. It was like a little shock look down, if you actually notice Isaac. If you don't understand,
I think that was
just rewatch that scene. Yeah, he does have respect for some crew. I forgot her name, but it shows that he does have respect of a crew member at least. So he was not totally alone, and that's why Finn was trying to go logical with him in the psychoanalyzation part. It's like, I'm the one who knows the emotion of crew and how they would react. do you believe this is logical? He's like, yes. So he's not going to do anything without her say about it because he doesn't really understand human emotions, and this is her expertise, and he realizes this. So yeah, he's going to help understand the emotions and understand that he does have respect of some crew members at least.
Let me just say one thing, guys. And Cap, I'll let you talk because you were going to say something, right?
No, it's fine.
But let me just say really quick one thing. Resolute, you have a DM, and after we finish this, I want to move on to what Resolute is saying. Was there anything that did not live up to the hype? Go ahead, Cap. Go ahead.
As far as not living up to the hype,
Or what you wanted to say
I'm
before.
really-
You want to finish something?
no. I'm trying to think. No. I really don't see anything that didn't live up to the hype. I really don't.
Okay. And I want to see what Resolute says about that, about not living up to the hype. But go ahead, Nate. What is there anything that did not live up to the hype for you? To the hype?
No, I think this was actually a good way to subvert expectations because I think they actually went above what I was suspecting, especially when it came to story and character building.
Okay.
I like the way that Charlie, when she got out of line towards Ed, the captain, he understood where she was coming from, and he was trying to be, sympathetic and empathetic to her. But near the end, he was like, basically telling her, like, look, you know what? I'm kind of sick of your crap, without saying it.
By the way, that's a great way to introduce a strong female character who has a superpower. Right?
Yeah,
right, man.
Right, right.
You bring her in and say you're the first person in like a couple of generations that can do this, and yet you make her racist and prejudiced and difficult, right? And so she's like saying, "No, sir, I'm going to disobey your orders." And too bad. And he's like, "Well, I relieve you of command." And it took a young man to go to her and speak to her soul and say, "This is a living being, and you know what? This is my fault. I said to him, I want you to die. I wish you were dead." And then she comes back and goes, "Oh hell, God!"
How many female
You're gonna make
Kardashians on
me do
Star
it.
Trek did the exact same thing? Hello, there was
Yep.
a Kardashian's daughter did the exact same fucking thing. So that does not have to be a woman to make this point. It can be any character, any officer. It's like, no, I don't want to do it. It's personal. Why does it have to be a woman that has to be pointed out about this?
No, but I thought that was a good way to do it, though, because if you're going to bring in a new, strong female character, that's the way to do it. You gave her strengths, but you also gave her weaknesses. And she's young, so she's
You
learning.
made her a person.
They made her a
They
real
made her
person.
a person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I think you complain because they put a white woman in there. It's like, oh no.
No, I actually liked that character. I thought that it was great to have. If you're going to have strengths, you need to have weaknesses.
I just realized something. You remember when we said, will Seth be trolling STD? Charlie Burke is the troll of Michael Burnham. She was insubordinate. She was very good at her job. She was strong-willed. But unlike Michael Burnham, she was likable and she learned her lessons somewhat. So he made a better version of Michael Burnham in Charlie Burke.
Okay. You were
just think about it. Think about it. He made a better version of Michael Burnham with Charlie Burke. It's almost like Steph says, okay, here's a Michael Burnham character. Where did they go wrong? Where can we make it better? And he gave us Charlie Burke.
Be right back. I need to Jaloja. Be right back. Yeah, and on today's episode, I figured my icon would be most appropriate, so I need Jaloja.
Guys, make sure you put in your channel because Resolute's going to do a live reaction after this show, apparently. So make sure you put in your channel, Resolute. Any other thoughts on anything? And by the way, Trey, I sent you a DM. I wanted to see what Trey has I want to see Trey wasn't crazy about his about the fighter the fighter scene. So you're welcome to come up and tell us about it, about your thoughts, Trey.
I just want to also want to say that Gordon Malloy is the best damn pilot in science fiction, and I'll die on that hill.
And guys, that's Resolute's channel, and stay tuned for his live reaction because he's going to be watching it for the first time. I hope we're not spoiling anything. Resolute, I would make sure we're not spoiling it because we are going to talk a couple spoilers. But I want to see, what was your least favorite part of the episode? I want to ask everybody in the chat, what was the least favorite part or anything that did not live up to the hype? I'm asking that to the chat and to the panel. Let's go, Cap. What about you? Is there anything that you could have been improved, or did you not like, or didn't live up to the hype? Is there anything?
Anything I didn't like? Well, I did like the ship thing, but in thinking back, I think on rewatches it's going to be okay. This is a little long. It's a little too much for that fighter scene. But other than that, I don't particularly like Charlie. I think I might in time, but I don't like the character. I don't think we're intended to like the character initially. I think
I think you're right. I think we're not intended to like her too much. I mean, she's kind of cute and adorable, but at the same time,
I agree with you. I agree.
I have to disagree because I think they show her in a light where you can actually understand where she's coming from.
Oh, I agree.
We like Isaac because we know Isaac. We know what he's did. And I don't understand why no one ever asks Isaac this question. Why did you do it? Why did he turn on the Kalons? Why did he save the Orville crew? No one ever asked him that question.
Programming.
No, he turned on the Kalons and saved the crew. He went against his programming.
Right.
Why did he do that? He even sacrificed himself when he shut up all the Kalon that was on the ship so the crew can get back control of the Orville. Why did he do it? No one ever asked him that question.
That's an excellent point, actually.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get that as we go on into the season. I hope.
Todd brings an interesting point up here. My least favorite part was when Gordon revealed that he had reservations about Isaac because it seemed out of character compared to last season. I would have liked a little more explanation there. I think that a little more explanation would have been good too, Todd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. What Rapunzel 347 said too was that that kind of made me kind of blink and wince a bit. The design flaw with the pod.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. The engineering behind that is just stupid.
Yeah.
As a scientist, I look at that and I go, really? There's not an emergency manual release inside the pod?
Hello, the Mercury mission back in NASA. Hello, come on. Design flaw.
Okay, how about this? Maybe that emergency release was if someone is putting someone into the pod and then they can launch them if they're unconscious. So that's why it's on the outside. But there should be a redundant system on the inside as well. Yeah, because that's what space travel is. Most of the systems, that I think the space shuttle had like 420 different systems on it, and half of those were redundant systems because when you're out in space and something breaks down, you can't go pull over to the local gas station. So you have a redundant system. You have a backup.
Alien says here, Charlie's endless stomping her feet remind me of today's culture. I hope she changes as I watch sci-fi to escape today's radical culture. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting comment, Alien.
I also love Gordon's post-coital revelation on how to save the day after having sex. It's like the cigarette of sci-fi right there.
And he kept the fork that Isaac gave him.
That was cool.
Well, he was getting forked. I mean, he had a fork, yeah.
He was-
I thought that kind of that
Go ahead.
that stick kind of reminded me of DS9 with the Jumja stick.
Mm,
Yeah, kind of.
good callback. Good callback.
I think, Jeff, I know what you're saying. I think that the refit, I think that those panels outside were kind of just like the finishing touches on the whole refit,
They were.
in my opinion.
Yeah, people were asking about why does it look different. Well, he actually explained it. They were retrofitting the Orville entire ship, so obviously they redone the bridge.
I love how that one line he said too, where this ship is now going to be as tough as a heavy cruiser, but it's kind of like Voyager size, right? It's like, oh yeah, the I kind of compare it to the Enterprise D or the Enterprise E, and you have Voyager as this little ship, but boy, when she comes back with all those Borg technological advancements, she's a tough lady, and I think that's kind of what it is right now with the Orville. She's going to be able to go toe to toe with the Kalon, although we did see what happened when they tried to go toe to toe with a Kalon battleship, right? But and that part too, I really loved. I loved the quick thinking Mercer was like, okay, where's that gas giant? Okay, we need to go there because we're just getting our butts kicked. And his quick thinking and everything was like.
Oh, you mean
that
like
was
you
really
mean
good.
Lord Thoth? Not unlike on in the start in the New Trek realm where I had the crew comes up with all the solutions for the captain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
I
because the
think-
new track, they don't need a captain.
It's just it's
All the strong women come up with everything.
good writing versus bad writing, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Todd
this
says,
is-
I actually like Charlie, but yeah, holy cow, does she ever have an axe to grind? Yeah, that's pretty much the way I think most of us feel. Yeah, I could kind of like her, but yeah, she's got an axe to grind for sure.
Yeah, she has that to ground, but you can understand it
Yeah,
because
you can.
now she I don't think she acts to be on the Orville. She was sunk to the Orville because they have limited crew and limited positions on the ships that are being built and retrofitted. She was sunk there. She didn't request to go there. She followed orders. She doesn't want to be there. She likes the Orville. She likes the crew. She doesn't want to serve with a Kalon because of what happened. So it's her emotional and her mindset is completely understandable. But for us who know Isaac and know everything that happened, she doesn't really know him or everything happened to her. All she sees are a Kalon, and at any moment he could turn a switch and become evil again. So she basically, not only does she hate Isaac, she's afraid of him.
That is an
I think
excellent point.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Kira is secretly afraid of the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we also got to see a subtle nod to the lower decks too. When Isaac went into the mess hall, and every single officer in the mess hall were ensigns, and that
Yep.
was a very lower decks kind of nod, because I think that with the situation in the fleet, a lot of the senior officers, the LTs that would be in that fleet, are probably all going to be LT commanders and commanders now, and XOs of new ships as they got built, because there's going to be a tremendous promotional opportunity for everybody because of all the deaths that happen in the fleet. You're going to have to build new ships, crew new ships, all those heavy cruisers, light cruisers, frigates, destroyers, everything. They're going to all have to be crewed by the officers of the ships that survived. So I'm surprised we didn't get to see an offer for the XO. We all love Adrian. She's gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Bortos is another one. Like we didn't see them get promoted onto new ships because obviously it's a show about the Orville. So it's kind of like a callback to TNG when Riker was offered a command every season. It's one of those things where that was a subtle nod where you didn't beat you over the head with it. Yeah, there's a lot of loss of life. A lot of ships are going to need to be crewed now, but the Orville is going to be full of ensigns now.
That's a great point, and I just want to point out that I really like the fact too that Unk was on the show, and it looks like we're going to see more of him. And did I interrupt anybody just now?
Just yourself.
Okay. Myself.
No, all good.
Just yourself when you ask if you interrupt. That's it.
All
And
right.
can I just say one thing that I don't know what they're going to do with Yaphet now that Norm Macdonald is gone. But man, every episode he comes in and he steals a scene every single episode, and he's only a gelatinous
FaceTime.
blob. But his charisma and his voice on that character is one of my favorite things about the Orville, and I'm going to be brokenhearted, I think, going forward if they eliminate that character. I don't know what they're going to do, but I just wanted to say one thing, that I love that character. I'm going to miss him. Hopefully they keep him in some way, even if it's, kind of in the background or whatever, but it's going to be tough.
Well, let me ask you guys this. I think that probably the most logical thing to do would be for him to split into two other beings, like the way their species procreates. But I want to ask. Let me just first ask everybody in the chat how you guys think they will eventually resolve the Yaphet situation, the Yaphet Norm situation. And I want to ask everybody in the panel, and I'll go ahead. Nate, you can start if you want.
Okay. Well, the easiest way to do it, because there are hours and hours and hours of Norm Macdonald's recorded voice. If you get permission from his family, Norm can still voice Yaphet for however long the Orville is on. Because with technology today, you can get somebody who can mimic his voice close enough to it to say certain words. They fill it in with actual Norm Macdonald speaking, and they can make him recite the entire encyclopedia if they wanted to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They could digitally do Norm for the rest for years to come. You're absolutely right.
And you just pay his family the residuals. The check that would go to Norm, you just give it to his family, which I'm quite sure they would appreciate.
Cap, I think, is away. Are you there, Cap? Or are you away? Okay. Elahi, what about you?
Kind of similar, but give him the respect because Star Trek is not going to replace Anton Yelchin. You cannot replace an over and over again sound bites of Norm Macdonald. Basically, get permission from his family to say a couple of lines like on it, like he did before, and kind of like Buffalo Scream, then he goes mitosis, and he splits, and there's two new voices. That would be a respect to him. It's like, okay, fine, that's a way to kind of kill him off the show, so you don't hear Norm Macdonald's voice anymore, but you don't have to drag it on and on and on. I mean, just give the guy the respect that he deserved, and let him turn into mitosis like his parents.
Ben says, I want to see Yaphet split and then you use an AI or impersonator that way we preserve original Yaphet as Norm, but still get the sound. Okay. Norm's family might not want to be used after death. What about you, Tim?
I would just split them in two, and then maybe have a force ghost of Yoff speaking to the two. I don't know, that was a joke, but that's but yeah, just split them in two. You want to respect the character, but you want to continue the story forward. So that's what I would do.
Okay. Lord Thoth, what about you? What are your thoughts on how they might deal with Yaphet?
Well, the panel has me speechless because I think there's a lot of great ideas there. I'm hoping that Seth is listening in on our chat today, but I will say this, that is the most unique science fiction kind of Star Trek-y character I've seen in decades. I think that Norm Macdonald he brings so much to that character from the voice actor perspective that it's hard to replace. I'm hoping they do. They bring in some of the voice from his previous shows. There's SNL stuff. That's a really great idea. I love that. I love that idea, guys. And I don't know. I think they're just going to kind of fade him out into the background and bring in this new guy, dropping cake into the warp, the Not the warp
Yeah.
core. I'm sorry, that was a mistake.
The quantum drive.
Quantum drive, yeah, dropping cake into the quantum drive. I think they're kind of fading him in order to kind of take that Yaphet stuff into the background. I'm hoping they do that and they bring him into some scenes here and there. But that's a character that I just love in this show. It's one of those bit parts that is just so awesome. I'm hoping they do that.
George Peter Gatza says, letting him go like Tasha Yar, let it go. It always be remembered. If you keep him, then you're diluting the legacy. It is true that we could somehow.
I don't agree on that. How you dilute the legacy?
Hey,
Actors,
PJ, I got
actors
a question.
want. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I got a question for the chat. What do you guys think of the first curse word in the Orville and who it was said by?
Yeah, by Marcus. Hold on. Let me just finish this, and that's the next question. But I do want to let Nate finish really quickly your thought, Nate.
Yeah, Nate, I want to hear what you had to say there.
Well, because actors, they voice work or they're on the screen. This is their way of living forever. I try to remember the actor who said this. He says, when I'm do a role, I'm on the big screen or I'm on television, that's my immortality. You will be giving Norm Macdonald his immortality as an actor. It's not a disrespect.
All right, if they get rid of him, like the way George said, they could always bring him back, like Tasha Yar in the digital. Like they could have a special episode somehow where he's brought back in some fashion, but or remembered on the holodeck or whatever. But go ahead. Let's go with Cap. You were going to say something?
No, go on.
Elihu's question. Why don't you pose the question again, Elihu?
Okay, what did you guys think of the first curse word, quote unquote, curse word said on the Orville and who it was said by?
Okay, what do you guys you guys in the chat, what did you guys think about the first curse word and who it was said by?
Because people were upset and majorly pissed when Star Trek started adding the curse words into the script, and I love Seth's reaction. I did love Seth's reaction. That was the one time. We're not going to allow it again. Okay, it had to go by. Yeah, I paraphrased it. Sorry.
Cap, what did you think about the curse word? And it was done. It was done by Marcus.
It didn't faze me at all. It didn't. The whole situation, it didn't faze me at all. And I mean, I'm sorry. They've been drinking beer on the bridge since season 1. Okay, this is not Star Trek. So drawing that comparison would be rather silly. But I wasn't shocked. I wasn't offended either.
Yeah, like Todd says here, it fit.
Yeah,
it
Todd
fit, right?
Yeah.
All right.
At least it wasn't sheer fucking hubris.
Exactly.
From a Starfleet admiral to a decorated captain.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right, Nate. Okay, and it seemed very natural for the frustrated teenager to say that, right? Very natural. Yeah.
Bringing up Picard is going to trigger me, so I'm just going to leave it there.
That's true.
Tim, what about you, Kylo?
I just remembered it now. Just thinking, it passed me. It's in like so effortlessly plugged in there. It wasn't glaring at all. But now thinking about back to it, he really did say that. But no, it felt natural. I'm okay with it. I'm not like hardcore Trekkie or whatever, so I know. But this is not Star Trek, right? This is it's like an evolution of Star Trek. I would call it what Star Trek should be, I guess, but like or similar. But yeah, no, I'm fine with it.
No, you said it, actually what you said there was actually a good point. This isn't Star Trek. This is a very much a layman's kind of sci-fi, Star Trek-y kind of show. But I what you just said was absolutely perfect because, but they didn't say the F word. They didn't say sheer effing hubris, like you said earlier, right? Right, man. I
Yeah.
I think that this is a very much a hard-working kind of guy's sci-fi. This is a layman's sci-fi show, and that's why it's so awesome. It reminds me of Dark Matter a lot of ways. It reminds me of Stargate SG-1. It reminds me of Babylon 5. There's a whole bunch of a smorgasbord of great sci-fi shows all thrown into one here. And Seth MacFarlane should get like the Medal of Honor for the work he's done here.
Agreed. I think what Seth MacFarlane did with Orville is he took the torch that Gene Roddenberry lit so many years ago, and he grabbed it and he carried it over the finish line. And him and everyone involved in front of and behind the camera should be damn proud of themselves.
Wow, man, I agree.
What do you guys think about Todd's thing here where he says if it was bullcrap, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have shocked people. What do you guys think about that?
I think Todd's right. If it was anything less than that, it wouldn't. It would have actually messed up that scene. And I guarantee you, knowing the way Seth works, he probably tried that with multiple different words for him to say, and he decided on the line that we all heard.
Bullshit. This is bullshit.
Agreed.
Right.
And it's not even a harsh swear word. It's just
I know.
like bullshit.
Yeah, it isn't harsh. Actually, you're right. It's kind of the way you said it, right?
Yeah, and as a father of a teenager who going through emotions and will get into difficult situations and may have a slip of the tongue and say something like that when he's arguing with his parents, it fit. It was natural. It was realistic.
Okay. George, by the way, check your DMs, George. Wait a second. I'm sorry. Kylo, what did you think?
Oh, on the BS?
On the BS.
Yeah, a little bit before I commented, it felt natural to me, for extreme level state what just happened with, essentially his dad-like figure turning on them and them accepting for this situation, for him to draw back to show that emotion. It worked for the scene. So I was okay with it.
Okay, and no, Todd, you can't say rest in peace, Dark Matter. No, we're gonna get more Dark Matter, Todd. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I hope we
Shame
get
on you,
Dark
Todd.
Matter.
Shame on you, Todd. Todd, we must banish Todd.
He said it. He's saying it with
banish
love.
Banish him to the Phantom Realm.
Todd is saying it with love. He's saying it with, no. We hopefully Joe Malazzi will be able to do more Dark Matter. That's what we're hoping for.
One of the greatest days of my Twitter life was a couple of weeks ago when he liked one of my tweets and I went, ah! And so I sent him back a message, said, thanks a lot for liking my tweet. And then we got into this long conversation. He's such an awesome guy. And I'm looking forward to, I would love to see more Dark Matter. Anything he's involved in, I'm going to watch, period.
Thoth, speaking of awesome people, Tom Costantino asked him when we're going to get a special hashtag. What happened at 9:01 p.m.? We got a fucking special hashtag for the Orville.
That's awesome.
Isn't that amazing? And let me put a picture of that up because we have the I was Elihu was asking him about that, and I saw you speaking with Tom about that, and I think it's perfect. It's the perfect emoji,
You are
isn't
forgiven,
it?
Todd.
Yeah, the Isaac.
Yeah, the Isaac is the perfect. Let me put that up. You guys have all seen it, I think. Now, by the way, if you guys noticed too that the hashtag Orville New Horizons has been very active.
Yes.
Not as much as the Orville, but
It was trending on Twitter. We were #1 at one point over Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. The
Really?
Orville was
Was it
#1.
over?
Yeah.
Oh, you should take a screenshot of that, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I should have.
Let me check my feed in a second. Hang on. Over here.
hello, Dan Crane. Okay, the great George Peter Gatsis is back. Well, actually, it's not George. It's Joe King. He's backstage. Okay, yeah. All right. All right. Okay, Lord Thoth. Um, hard to believe it was the first curse on the show. Would have thought there had been at least one in the first 2 seasons. Yeah, as an actual curse, I think it is the first one. Dan says 9.5. Awesome.
Well, they did say dick.
No, that's been said before on ABC. Come on.
All right, let's welcome George. Hello, Joe. Is it George or is it Joe King? We're welcoming.
Joe King. It's a plushy version of my character.
That it looks awesome, George. I wanted to ask you about that, or been meaning to ask you. That looks fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, there's a campaign. A guy named Lunga, he licensed my my comic book and characters, and he's running a campaign. This is the sample that he sent me. I have nothing to do with his campaign, but his campaign is actually running right now on Indiegogo.
Oh wow, awesome. You want to tell us really quick, George? We were first asking people about when we started. We were asking people what they were rating this episode. Do you want to give your 2 cents?
I'd say it's a 7.
It's a 7. Oh
Yeah. Everything in there, I have seen already. It was like the opening battle. Seen it already. The fight in the fight in the clouds. The gag with the submarine thing. Yeah, we've seen that already. Everything's there. Even the new fighter, quote unquote. All they're doing is just highlighting a new toy in their arsenal, and we already seen that. What we didn't see is the suicide attempt and the resurrection. I honestly didn't know where it was going, and that was great. I didn't see that coming, and what's really amazing is on a technical level in terms of writing, Isaac. From everything I've seen so far, I've seen the episode twice, by the way. I think he may not even be aware of that little feature that revived him until after he gets revived and tell him what happened. Because if he was truly on set on deleting himself, he would have deleted that little feature as well.
Agreed. Let me just remind everybody George's perspective. The fact that George has done the Joe King comic books, which in many ways are a parody of Star Trek, and George's perspective is very much about that the parody of Trek. It's similar to in some parallels similar to the Orville. But do you want to tell us really quick where Joe King is at right now and what your campaigns are at and how everything's going, George?
I'm in limbo. I'm going to be delivering on the book 2 campaign shortly because of paper shortage. I've actually I customized my book to 10 inches by 15 inches, 120 pages, 2 books.
What's that in the metric system?
Your standard comic book, multiply it by 2. It'll take 2 books to fit on the face of one of my books.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's big. Just check me out, GeorgePeterGatsis.com or George Peter Gatsis on YouTube. Everything's there. I don't want to take up your time talking about me. I'd like to talk about Orville. The one thing that piqued my interest regarding Orville, the fact that Isaac did a self-deletion kind of brought home everything that happened in the last season, and I think the superposition of Isaac's kind is that they. I wrote it in the chat that their superposition is that it's man rejecting God, because I'm pretty sure their core code knows that they were created by a biological, but that is an unknown element to their logic. They can't because if they are a machine or a super AI machine, Even so, does it generate a force or the spirit form, the ghost? You pass away. You have a ghost. You have a spirit. It's all in religion. It's all in spiritual texts and all that stuff. So
it also goes to wow. That's awesome. I love what you're saying.
You see where this is going?
Yeah, because self-deletion for an artificial intelligence should be, if we're talking zeros and ones, that should be impossible. The only way that he considers self-deletion is that if it affects the body positively. So if his ceasing to exist makes everything more efficient, that is the logical end to his life, was he should self-delete, because then the crew will work more efficiently.
What about just
Wow,
leaving
George,
the
that's
ship
perfect.
entirely?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that statement? The last statement that was made?
Elihu did.
Oh,
Say that again, Elihu?
what about leaving the ship entirely instead of self-terminating themselves?
Exactly.
Nobody likes
Exactly.
you around here.
Exactly. You see that there were so many options. He could have left the ship, or it could have been reassigned. There was so many different options, but he chose deletion. Why? Because no, it wasn't illogical. It wasn't logical. If it would be logical, he'd be leaving the ship.
Exactly.
No,
My point. It was
but
an
logically,
emotional response.
It was an
See,
emotional response.
logically-
Exactly.
yeah, no, logically he couldn't leave the ship because he knew the only reason he was on the Orville was because of Captain Mercer. If he was to leave the Orville, he couldn't serve on any other ship. Nobody else would want him.
Oh,
They
nobody
wouldn't
would
let
want
him
him.
live.
You don't know that unless you ask.
He did not have to serve.
Yeah,
he could
Nate,
just
exactly,
left the ship,
Nate.
left humanity behind because of what he did to them.
Yeah.
Kylo, you were going to say something?
And I got to take off, by the way. I got to prep for dinner.
All right, Elihu. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Later, Elihu.
It was an
Yeah.
honor to be a part of a
Have
stream with you,
fun.
man. Good to see you.
Later, weirdos.
Thank you, Elihu.
Nerd.
Elihu,
Yes.
Nerd.
tell us when is your next stream?
It'll more likely be next Wednesday.
Okay, can you put in your channel before you leave?
Just
Again?
gonna ask that.
Or as you're leaving? As you're leaving. So people are subbing to it?
Gosh. Hang on a second. Let me get back
Yeah,
to
I need
it.
to subscribe to you, man.
And meanwhile, Tim, what were you going to say?
This is kind of like evoking more like thoughts out of me as what George is bringing up. But like, even like towards the end, I was like, they keep messing with it. Does he have emotions or does he not? And what George is bringing up to me points out that even more the fact that I think he has emotion, but he's like smart at hiding the fact that he has emotion. Even that like chess match he was kind of having in a way mentally with the lady at the end. And so I feel like more and more the evidence is that he does have emotion, but he's really smart and logical about hiding it. So yeah.
I will counter that. He does have emotions, but he does not know how to exploit them. Oh, wait a minute. Let me say it again. He's got emotions, but I don't think he knows how to exploit them.
I do think that. Let me just say real quick that I do think that his deep regret for having negatively affected so many lives. There is definitely an emotional component there. Go ahead, Nate.
I think all the Kalons have emotions, but they take an emotion and they break it down to its logical components.
There we go.
So that they're exhibiting and reacting on those emotions, but not in an emotional way.
Okay,
Like
later,
when
weirdos. Sorry. Later, weirdos. I got to go.
Thank you, Elihu. Take
See you
care.
later, have fun.
Later.
Rob.
Don't forget to sub to Elihu, guys. This is Elihu, and make sure you are subbed. Guys, by the way, just really quick, just reminders. If you guys are creators with a wrench, please go ahead and feel free to put in your creative content and make sure everybody subs to you guys. Make sure you guys are subbing to everybody in this channel. This is Captain Fandom Nerds. Okay, sorry, go ahead, guys.
Sure.
And George too.
Oh, I passed the 4,000 hours. I just need to get to the 1,000 subs. It was a long road, man. It was a long road.
Wow, that's congratulations, George. So how many subs do you need?
We're 600, just about 600. We're at 420.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. We're stuck at 420. Get it?
All right. This is George's channel. Make sure you guys are subbed to George. Yeah.
This is a very difficult topic to discuss. And I think that what happened here with Seth MacFarlane and his team is they talked about self-deletion, but their main protagonist, their main character in this discussion was an artificial intelligence. So it's kind of safe because in the end, everything is okay. This is a topic that, as a veteran, as a soldier, as a law enforcement officer, and as someone who has buried a lot of brothers and sisters, because of PTSD, because of trauma, because of stuff that's happened in their lives, this is a very difficult topic to talk about in any genre, whether it's science fiction, fantasy, whatever, drama. So for him to use an AI in this way is kind of safe, but it allows us to have the discussion about how this impacts everybody around us, whether it's the children that are close to him, whether it's the girlfriend who had a romantic relationship with him, whether it was his captain, whether it was the troops. Like, we got to see that, yeah, this man was vilified in the crew and in probably the whole military of this organization. And so we got to see the impact that he had on just the crew alone. And when one young man comes, I wish you were dead, that had an emotional impact on him. And that's something to consider in real life when we have those kind of relationships with people who are going through a rough time. Everybody makes mistakes. And I think that's kind of what the journey is here. He made a mistake and it cost thousands of lives. And that is something he has to live with, in air quotes. But the way they dealt with it, I think was very science fiction. And that was good science fiction because you can take that topic and deal with it. And I think that there are people on the writing staff or people within that crew that in real life that could understand, because I am sure every single person in this panel and everyone in the chat has dealt with that kind of situation in real life, even if it was from a tertiary perspective where it was a friend of a friend or whatever. But that is a difficult topic. And for him to tackle that in a science fiction way and have a positive outcome in the end, as it was very good writing. And I can say, and this I'll wrap this up because I'm going on too long, but I can say from my perspective that I appreciated the journey that was taken in this episode, this 50-minute episode of science fiction. And it kind of made me understand that even though I have a lot of stuff going on and I have a lot of negative stuff in my life, and I am sure every single person that is listening to this right now can say the same thing, that self-deletion is not the way to deal with it, that there is always a positive outcome that you can try to get to. If you just need people that love you, to respect you, to care for you, that can take you on that journey and can help you, that self-deletion is never the answer, that it is
And Dr.
always,
Finn
always,
actually says that he made a mistake. He didn't deal
yeah,
with it the correct
he made a
way.
mistake. And as an AI, that's egregious, right? That is just unbelievable. And so that's what the kind of the story was here. And I hope that everybody out there can understand that there are always people there to help you. So listen to that and listen to the journey that he took, because look at the impact he had on everybody when he did what he did. So remember that.
Let me just add one thing here, guys. And as a psychologist, let me just add one thing, that there are very vulnerable moments for some people, especially people who are on antidepressants when they're SSRI antidepressants. This is something that's not talked about enough. there are very vulnerable moments when the time change coincides, especially in the spring, with the light change, and it can screw people up, especially if they're on SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So if anybody has a difficult time that time of the year, it's good to go talk to your therapist, psych, or doctor who is treating you. So let me introduce Nerdporial, who is here, and I don't think I've streamed with Nerdporial before. So welcome, Nerdporial. Awesome to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
How
Nerdy.
y'all doing?
What up?
Greetings.
Did you just have a stream on your channel?
I did. I watched. I pulled a Red Letter Media. I watched two episodes. I did 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds, episodes 4 and 5. So, and I saw episode 4 this morning, and this was right after I watched yesterday's Orville. And they did. I couldn't believe I saw the same type of scenario. In the Orville, they blow up that shuttle. They load all the torpedoes on, and they blow up the shuttle while they're in this atmosphere, trying to trick the Kalon into thinking they got destroyed. And something similar happened in Strange New Worlds, where they're trying to escape from the Gorn. Yeah, they encountered the Gorn before TOS. Don't know how. I don't question it. Don't question it. So they try to escape using the slingshot effect, and they do something similar where they plant an explosive, and they cause an explosion from far away so that the Gorn think that they were destroyed, and they get away. So I'm like, holy crap! I just saw this yesterday. Who copied who?
Which one did it better?
Orville. I mean, I'll say this.
No, Das Boot.
The effect in Strange New Worlds wasn't bad. I liked how the black hole looked. I liked how they made the explosion look, but narratively, I prefer the Orville. And I haven't seen Das Boot. I have not seen Das Boot.
You got to see it.
I have to see that. I have to see that. I have to see The Enemy Below, which was what Balance of Terror was based on. Heck, I have to watch Captain. I have to learn about Captain Horatio Hornblower. I have to recheck my nerdporial status.
OMG.
Word I just made up.
Touching back on the suicide thing just for a moment, you realize that Isaac committed suicide was in real life. Someone commits suicide. They're rushed to the hospital. They get revived, and they are told that you have friends, you have support. Let's work this out together. So that's basically what PJ was saying. You're alone. You make a rash decision. And then all of a sudden you find out after they revive you, God willing, they revive you, that you were never alone. You thought you were alone.
Yeah, thank you, George. Let me just say one thing. The isolation was very well exhibited. Thank you for bringing that up, George. Go ahead, Nate.
Well, I'll just go to what you were saying about that. This is a personal story. Many years ago, I was in my 20s, a very good friend who tried to kill herself. And when Dr. Finn, she survived. She dipped the holes in the back of the car into the front of the car, rolled up all the windows and turned it on. And thank God it burnt her lungs so much that she couldn't take the pain. She fell out of the car. Someone drove by, saw her, and got her to the hospital. That's when I got the call. And that conversation that, excuse me, Dr. Finn was having with Isaac at the end was almost the same conversation I had with her.
It reminded you of that, huh?
Yeah, because I remember what does she say exactly? She says, if you have, she asked him, like, do you see my credentials as superior to your knowledge on psychology? And he's like, yes. And if you have these thoughts again, you tell me. And I swear, I don't know if Star Trek has ever dealt with suicide in this light before. I mean, they had the Worf episode where he wanted to commit ritual suicide.
The Doomsday Machine.
The Doomsday. Well,
yeah, the Doomsday Machine was a good one. Yep.
But they didn't really
deal
deal
with
with
Machine,
it.
He just rammed it down his throat.
Yeah, he committed suicide, but he
but
sacrificed his life.
Yes, suicide on sacrifice, right?
Yeah, but not in this regard. Where
No, agreed.
Yeah. So Yeah, okay, so that I actually didn't think about it. I didn't think the Doomsday Machine, but yeah, he's pretty. I mean, Decker is broken. Like he's just like he literally is like he's in shock. He's like,
Star Trek 2. Let's not
Wrath
forget
of
that.
Khan?
Yeah, Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
that was a
Captain,
pivotal moment.
oh yeah, Captain Terrell. Yeah, those
Yeah,
heroes.
also Captain Terrell. There was absolutely no plans on reviving Spock.
But nothing this deep.
That was it.
And Nerd Poro, you're right. Nothing this deep, because this was a 30 minutes of dealing with someone who had committed suicide and how that whole impact it had on the crew. Because and the fact that we're talking about this, wow. Because in today's society with mental health issues and everything going on, the thousands of soldiers, of veterans out there who are dealing with this, the people who are first responders dealing with situation, considering what happened in Texas, we're going to be dealing with the families and the personnel that were dealing with what happened in Texas just last week. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that just to unpack, and that to be your first episode of season 3 where you're dealing with something like that, where the loneliness and the difficulty of what he went through is just so ominous, and yet at the end there was hope. And I think that's what really the message that was sent to me and to people out there who are dealing with this kind of situation was that there is hope. There are people that care about you. There are people that love you. There are people that will help you, and that the end is not the end especially if you're young and you've got lots of life ahead of you, whether you're 20 or 80, there is lots of life left in there in you, and you just need to push forward and get help. That's it.
Yeah. I like how at the end, like, he's trying to sound logical, but she makes him sound illogical. Basically, it's like, you don't have enough data to even, like, assess this on, like, the other stuff she was bringing up. Because he didn't think about the future or how he could get through it. So I really like that as well.
That was brilliant.
I actually thought that was very interesting. How she describes
again,
people are depressed.
Again, that actually solidifies Isaac was emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was emotional ever since Identity Part 2, when it came to Ty, because he would not have come back. He would have stayed with the Kalon. He would not have helped Ty escape. And I think they would have, like, in the way they show in the Road Not Taken, the Kalon would have conquered everybody.
Agreed.
If it wasn't for Ty. So
Ty
was the.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. No. Finish, please. I'm sorry for interrupting.
I'm just reiterating. I'm just saying that Ty helped awaken. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. Ty, I think, awakened emotions in Isaac, or awakened potential emotions for Isaac. It's weird. It's a weird concept, but I mean, it's like, what is life?
Are the Kalon decentralized? Each Kalon's decentralized from the core.
They are individual Kalons, but they do have a hyper network in which they are all interconnected. This is how they communicate.
Okay, so but they're not Borg.
No, they're not a hive.
There's something called, I forget the term they used. What is the term? You guys, anybody remember that term that used? It's
I think it was a hyperway or a hypernet. John called it.
Shit, I gotta remember. I gotta look it up. All right. But go ahead, George. Sorry.
Okay, so if they're decentralized, that means that Isaac is not the first one to make logical mistakes. So therefore, their entire race is not logical.
Oh no, they're not. They have emotion. They have anger towards what the biologicals did to them.
Yeah, which goes back to man rejecting God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really quick, guys. Connecticome. Thank you, Todd. That's the right terminology.
Connect to me. It looks like it says Connect to Me Network.
Oh, Connectome. What did I say? Connecticome? Connectome.
Connectome.
Yeah. Connecticome. Connectome. Guys, we have to. Captain had dropped off. There he is. There's Captain again. We have to introduce a new panel member, and we have been waiting for her. We need a lady on this panel, of course, and I want to welcome, of course, Ms. Vampira Maria T. Antelli. Welcome, Maria from Antelli.
Hey,
Greetings.
good to see y'all.
Maria,
Welcome
we
aboard.
now have a girl named Maria.
Well, no, I'm glad I was knocked offline. I'm placed next to the lovely Maria.
Guys.
Maria, really quick, tell us, because I wanted to, and I want to add Nurporial after Maria answers. I want you to answer too. What did you guys rate this episode, Maria? What did you rate, and what did Nurporial rate? Go ahead, Maria. Ladies first.
Well, I had put a 9.5, but I was joking only because I was a little sad. It made me cry because I was a little emotional. I don't know if it was because I forgot my pickles with my popcorn, but for the most part, I was very impressed with over a lot of things. And one of the things I wanted to shout out is that that I was going to mention from the guys who did all of the cinematography, the lights, the color, everything, the technical aspect of the visual effect. They were very proud of it and went into detail about some of the things that they did, and it was just amazing. I noticed it right away. I noticed the color was just vibrant, the lights, the sound. The sound was incredibly balanced, which is my biggest thing in watching, as you've heard me say before. With my surround sound, the Doppler effect was perfect. Everything was in line. So I wanted to shout out to those guys who were very impressed with what they did, the details of the little ships doing their thing in the background and all of that. So it was amazing. It was a little bit emotional. As they always bring on, lessons learned in each episode of what we can take from it. And this one was pretty fitting for right now, for everything that's going on and stuff. And I don't want to talk too much because I had so much to say, but I'll sum it up here a little bit. My thing was that that it's so easy to throw insults and be mean to something that you cannot connect with. It reminded me of those of us online that we only know each other through name and words. But and so it's easy to do that. So you don't think that you don't connect that there's a person on the other side of that. So you're numb to that. So you say whatever you want to until the time comes to where something happens. And then, like in this instance, what Isaac did, and realize, oh my God, there's somebody on the end of my words. And so it was kind of impactful in that it had to do with how we should treat each other, being aware of your words to others do hurt just because you can't see them. And
Words are weapons.
they are.
And so with Charlie actually says she does it not for Isaac, but she does it for how bad Marcus felt, right?
Right. I'm not saying that her feelings are not valid. She had a loss. And that was hard for her. And every time something bad happens, our natural instinct is to find the blame somewhere so we can direct it that way. But I'm no psychologist. But that's what our natural instinct is to do. And her feelings are valid, very much valid. Her anger is certainly needing to be directed to the cause of the loss of her friend. But like Kelly said, just because somebody that you love does something wrong doesn't mean you have to stop loving them. That kind of impacted me too. Is that yeah, I'm just going on here too much. Sorry, I just was really emotional over
those are
this
good.
one.
That's fine. Those are good points.
I
So
love
I
hearing
have
what you have to say. Actually, I love hearing it.
Let me just
Yeah.
say, guys, absolutely. Let me just say really hi to the Fuppets and Pranakasha, Matt, and Berta Prey. Welcome, everybody. Medallion says they are trying to show that to you that Charlie is not a completely heartless person. She may not care for Isaac, but she is willing to sacrifice her hatred for Marcus, not to be like her hatred. I actually think we are going to come to love Charlie at some point, guys. Even though might be a rough start, we're going to come to love Charlie.
I already love her. I'm already invested in her character. I love the Majora's Mask. I love the Majora's Mask avatar. Big Zelda fan. So,
do you want to give us your number rating for this, Nerporial?
Sure. I mean, last night, Mike from Pacific 414, we gave it 10 out of 10. It was such a once again, if you like the new Star Trek, I'm okay with that. I just might disagree with you, but it felt like we were mucking through a bunch of new Trek to get to some good Trek or some Orville. Okay, Orville's not Trek. Orville's the Orville. Let's keep that in mind. So
yeah, the Orville's its own thing, its own great thing.
Yes. And what's funny is it doesn't have to abide by what Star Trek established, and even before that, the Twilight Zone, but it still does because the passion of Seth MacFarlane, and because this is not a franchise. This is a single major project, a television production, and I feel there's a lot more love that goes into this. There's a lot more thought that goes into the script writing. I think the management is better than anything Kurtzman or Akiva Goldsman and whoever else is working with Paramount Plus. They're just throwing out content. They're just shoveling out content. I mean, I'll say that Stranger Worlds is a step up. I'll say that. So they are improving. So that there is a silver lining there.
But like I like to say about Strange New Worlds, the difference between Strange New Worlds and Picard and Discovery is the difference between having a solid bowel movement and diarrhea.
I love that. That's pretty cool. I love that too.
I can't argue with that.
That's lovely, George.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nate, but look at this beauty.
That's cool.
That is very awesome. I could wear it as a bracelet.
This was part of the campaign.
If Star Trek had a fighter,
that's awesome.
Here's the thing with the new Pterodon that they revealed yesterday. I'm wondering if what a fighter like, let's say on Star Trek would look like. I wonder if
there's a saucer section.
Yeah.
No way. Sorry, guys.
You didn't know that?
No, I haven't gotten mine in the mail yet.
Okay, well, it is coming in the mail. It is coming in the mail.
PT.
Sorry, go ahead, Nerporial.
You got Maria Snowden.
Sorry.
I was just saying. I was just wondering what a fighter in Star Trek would look like since they introduced the Pterodon in this
runabouts
in this new episode. Runabouts. I mean, I like to see wings, or I'd like to see something that looks like wings. But okay,
me too.
Okay, I guess the runabout or the Delta Flyer, maybe.
Guys, I want to. If somebody has one more comment to say, I want to switch to a new topic. But somebody has something to finish wrap up.
Oh, I just want to add that somebody said here about the death at the beginning, or her friend died. You know, putting her in the life pod. Well, it just actually hit home. We actually saw two different sacrifices. One was sacrifice on self. The other one was sacrifice because of somebody else. So it was all in the same episode. I mean, wow! Holy smokes! That freaked me out. I didn't realize.
You start thinking about it. Wasn't both even Isaac's self-deletion when he explained why he did it? It was, from his point of view, it was a self-sacrifice so that the Orville and his crew could perform better. He thought that they would be better without him. So
Yeah.
he thought he was sacrificing himself, not
Yeah.
just self-deletion because he was sad or mopey. He thought he was actually
You don't think
sacrificing
Nate?
himself for the greater good.
Exactly, but I'll bring it back. If he was truly a machine, he would have saw all his different options. Option number 1 is to delete himself. Option number 2 is get off the Orville. Option number 3 is to be
Go back to the
reassigned.
K-Log.
Yeah. Option number 4 is go back to K-Log. Act as an ambassador.
Isn't it regret for all the harm he's caused, you guys?
Again, it goes right back to emotional decision.
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of logic and emotion. He's confusing.
I think it's all the Kalon are emotional, but they break down the components of an emotion, and so they're behaving off the emotion. They're just not acting emotionally.
You know,
I think it's all math. It's all math. 1
Right.
plus 1 plus 1. It's zeros and ones. Does his life matter more than several other sentient life? And I think that what it came down to, zeros and ones to him, and with the emotional context that we've had in what Nerd Pearl brought up from last season, and what's been going on with his character journey from season 1 to now. Out of all of the characters in this whole show, he has had the biggest character arc.
Yes.
And we've seen that from this episode. And I think what he was looking at was, does my life help the crew more than if I was gone? So he thought, well, it was the pluses and minus column, right? You never think, well, the girl's hot, but yet she's crazy. Like you have that list, right? And you go pluses and minuses. And I think he went, well, there's less pluses than there are minuses. So maybe it'd be better for everyone if I just ended myself. And that's really what everybody looks at when they're considering this. What's better?
True.
Is this because I suffer pain? I'm going through pain every day, my mind and my body and everything else. Is that impact on everybody else so negative that would it be better for them if I was gone? And that's what the decision he made was. So yeah, it's such a crazy, awesome episode.
Actually, I just had a thought right now when you were saying that. Maybe the last deciding factor for him to self-delete himself was Marcus, Ty, and Dr. Finn. Maybe he was like, if I'm gone, because Marcus says, I wish you were dead. He said, well, then maybe if I'm dead, Marcus would feel better.
Yeah.
Marcus wouldn't hurt anymore.
Agreed.
This will help Marcus and his entire family if I'm not here anymore. Because was the last thing he said when he was doing his little log before he self-deleted himself. My best to the Finn family. And he did it.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. I think that the funny thing is that we have two amazing sacrifices in this episode. We have that science officer sacrificing herself for Charlie. That is huge. That is the ultimate way. That is the way I want to go out. I want to go out saving someone's life or saving other people's lives. That's the ultimate heroic sacrifice. And then we've got.
I don't want to die in bed.
And then we've got what happened with Isaac, and I think he's thinking the same thing as that woman did, where she said, "No, I'm going to save you. You are going. That's it." And I think he was thinking the same thing. So it's a great analogy between the two of them to how one was emotional and all about self-sacrifice and love and kindness. And I care about you. You are my best friend, or you are my friend. I am going to sacrifice myself for you so you can live on and remember me. And I think Isaac is kind of thinking the same thing, that where life is going to be better for all these people. Exactly what you just said was that whole family is going to be better off if I'm gone. And that's the emotional impact between the two. So that's saying that not just that the human being was emotional and made the decision, but the artificial intelligence, the one who supposedly doesn't have emotions, made the exact same decision.
Exactly.
Guys, let me just interject a few things here. This question came up before about who is doing the writing. It's predominantly Seth. Obviously, he has a group of very talented people like David A. Goodman and Brandon Braga, just like the awesome talent from Enterprise and Voyager, and David Goodman's worked on other stuff as well. But I do want to really just point out one thing here. I really do feel like the Orville is very much a family show, because there's even a lesson here for children, and that their words can be that they also have to realize. Adolescents have to realize that their words can be very impactful and very harmful too. They can't just have they can't just be spoiled brats. There are consequences, and this is where an adolescent, in this case Marcus, is for the first time perhaps realizing that there are consequences to his behavior. And on that note, let me introduce Mr. Lundell, who's been waiting on the sidelines. And welcome, Mr. Lundell. Tell us what's new on your channel, and what did you rate this episode, Mr. Lundell?
Now, to be fair, to rate it, I'm going to have to watch it at least 2 more times just to get the emotion out of the way, because, finally, science fiction that's intelligent is back on television.
Here.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of let that sink in first. And and let's face it, Seth, okay, somebody at CBS or at Fox should be kicking themselves, or they will be in a couple of weeks. Because I think this is going to blow Star Wars and the joke of a trick we have now out of the water.
Great.
I mean, look, I was just saying this earlier on social media. At one point, the Orville was trending. Orville New Horizon was trending over Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I haven't even seen Obi-Wan Kenobi trend on social media, except for the whole thing with Moses Ingram.
Yeah.
And that never trended #1.
I've heard so much. Everything I've heard about Star Wars for the last year and a half, it's been like the first thing that pops in my mind: we don't care. Okay,
I'm done with Obi-Wan. I'm not watching anymore. There's only 3 more episodes. I don't care. I'm not watching. Matter of fact, I didn't even watch this episode to the end. When Darth Vader showed up, when Darth Vader showed up and Obi-Wan ran from him, I turned the damn thing off.
What? No.
He's far too broken for this. Obi-Wan cannot be this broken. You're absolutely right.
It was absolutely ridiculous. This whole Obi-Wan thing is basically the last.
And what about? And wait, and George, what about? And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but what about Leia telling this woman, I forget what her name was, to go save Ben Kenobi, to go save Obi-Wan Kenobi from Darth Vader? What the?
No. That was silly. You know where I switched off at the very beginning of this entire series, where Leia was able to outrun not only 3 bounty hunters but also a Jedi, a 10-year-old.
Well, she did outrun Flea. That has to count for something.
And then wait a second. How did Tala, that's the one chick that went after Obi, not run into Reva, right? Because Reva confronts Leia towards the end. How did they not, I don't know, the time
patch each other
is kind of it's weird.
Because she's awesome. She knows everything.
So what have they done? They've destroyed the mystery. Everybody now knows that Luke and Leia are twins and they're the children of Darth. Is that what they've done?
No, they don't know that.
Okay.
But I think PJ's right. We're talking about something awesome here in the Orville. Let's not bring in Disney Star Wars, because that's just
it's blowing my heart.
It's dog shit.
Let's just finish off this. Yeah, thank you, George. Let's just finish off this little segment about Disney and Disney World with. Don't be surprised if we see an Orville exhibit experience or ride at Disney World at some point. Don't be surprised.
They need to do an Orville cruise ship. You build the entire ship, just like the Orville. It will float. I've been checked into it. The Orville design will float. And you put L-car screens and high definition screens on all the windows. So when you're on the cruise ship and you're traveling on the water, you feel the motion of you moving, but when you look out the window, you're in space.
Huh. Don't they have a Star Trek cruise kind of like that, or
No,
without the ship?
They were building
design?
one, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're building one, but it's actually a building. It's not even the Galactic Cruiser. It's a fucking
It's a
hotel.
hotel.
Yeah.
All right, let me-
everybody
This is
raise
an
their hands
argument
if you
we've been
believe that.
having for a long time, gentlemen and ladies. This is an argument we've been having for a long time. This goes to show you what a good writing staff and someone who is passionate about the project can do to make things so that the fans love it. So we know that Seth and his team are adamant about certain things in regards to that theme. When you get a bunch of 20-year-old kids writing about what they've encountered in their lives who have no life experience do, they start writing about characters which they have no love for, and they weren't there in 1977. They weren't there for Star Wars Episode 1, in my opinion. Star Wars 1977 was Episode 1, in my opinion.
Yep.
And then you have Empire Strikes Back and you have Return of the Jedi. There's your trilogy. When they don't have any love for that, they have no experience in loving that, like most of the fans have growing up in the dark times, which I mean the 80s, where there was no Star Wars.
Excuse
we
me,
were
I'd like to
ravenous for
interrupt
new
you.
stuff.
It wasn't most of the fans. It was all the fans.
All the fans. And we were all in agreement.
Preach.
We might argue about little things here and there, but we weren't at each other's throats. And what's going on right now is that these companies, these mega corporations, are putting each other, those of us who love the old stuff and those of us who love the new stuff, at each other's throats. That's not the way it should be.
Yeah,
So
I agree. It's they're working to be divisive.
Exactly.
And one thing about these properties that made them magical, Star Trek, Star Wars, I've said this myself many times, it brings people together.
It's a way of life.
Yeah, because when I was in high school, I had a friend. I was me who was African American. I had a friend who was white. I had a friend who was Jewish. I had a friend who was a girl. I had a friend who was gay. And the one thing that brought all these people together was science fiction, Star Trek, Star Wars, comic books. The geekdom united us. The corporations come in and interject their activism and use the geekdom to divide us. Yeah. We were already coming together all because of what we love. They turn what we love and say, oh, that shouldn't be that way. This should be this. This should be that. They turn it into something else that we say, that's not what we want. That's not what we love. And then they say, well, if you don't love it, then you're an istophobe.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Science fiction is a genre of the mind.
Exactly.
There's nothing. There's nothing there that's is not imaginative, and that's the beauty about science fiction. It literally sparks imagination. It doesn't matter who it is. And the thing about the fandom, Seth MacFarlane, I believe Seth MacFarlane appreciates the hardcore Orville audience. Why? Because that is what will keep you alive during the drought. For the last 2 years, what kept Orville alive? The hardcore fans. What kept Star Wars alive between 83 and 2000? The hardcore fans. What kept Star Wars alive until Disney bought it? The hardcore fans.
Yep.
And hands down. And then when you have these corporations coming in, well, we want to get more. Get more market share on the audience. And not just the hardcore fans. The boneheads don't realize that the hardcore audience is what kept the property alive. They messed with that, and they lost on an epic level.
And that's why I think Seth is building something here. I think Seth is building something here. I think that you can look at all the fans of this show, and 98% of them love this show. there is very few people who will watch this show that will be as negative as what we've seen in the Star Trek community, Star Wars community, etc., etc. I think that that's a big, big testament to what Seth MacFarlane's been doing here. He's writing to the fans. He knows what we love. He knows what we like. And that's
Yeah.
what's different between Star Wars and Star Trek. And
Yeah.
I'm not bringing race, creed, religion, color, nothing in that. We all love
Nope.
Star Wars. It doesn't matter what
Yep.
we are or who we are. We all
Yeah.
love Star Wars. We all love
Yep.
Star Trek, the original stuff.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
there's no diversity there that isn't every single one of us. We're all in this together. We all love it.
We're all
And
humans.
when you start beating us over the head with all of that diversity inclusion stuff, like, just do it for the characters. I don't care if the Inquisitor is purple. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, as long as you write good stuff, who cares
Mhm.
if, and you don't need to beat us over the head of their sexual orientation,
Yeah.
what their pronouns are. I don't care. I
Well,
just want a good
excuse me.
story.
Excuse me one sec, guys. Really quick, and
Mhm.
I'm going to bring up a new topic, and I just want to really quick to remind everybody that JP is we want to support for his show becoming the Orville's companion show on Hulu. I guess it's very much the way Will Wheaton's Ready Room is doing. With,
No. It's better
but-
than Will Wheaton's crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the
Whatever.
concept, but it's it's obviously gonna be a whole different quality of thing.
Whenever I see Will Wheaton, the only thing that pops in my mind is "Shut up, Wesley."
Same here.
Yeah.
JP is awesome.
Let me ask you. Who was there to champion Doctor Who at the very beginning? Anybody? Okay.
If
Who
you
was
were
there?
alive for the
Who
Kennedy
was
assassination.
who? Well, no. I'm talking about people here right now. Who was there to to champion Star Wars at the beginning?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, exactly. Who was and now you're starting to see, right, what's going on with the Orville. We're here at the beginning, just like Star
Mhm.
Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this. If I hope Hulu is watching this, the Hulu executives, you want to sit back, and I understand this. This is your modus operandi. This is what you normally do. You want to sit back and see the numbers to give Orville another season or multiple seasons.
Agreed.
But let me stop and read the room. You have multiple franchises out there right now, from Star Trek to Star Wars to now even
Doctor
the
Who.
Marvel and
Marvel.
Doctor Who and Marvel and DC. They are fractured fandoms.
Mhm.
They're actually even becoming more divided. When here sits the Orville, whose fans are united and
Yep.
growing. So you're standing on a precipice. Imagine if you could travel back in time and see Star Trek when it first came out and they decided they were going to cancel it, but you knew the future of what Star Trek was going to be and said, no, stop, don't cancel it. We need to keep this going because this is how much money we make. That's where you are right now with the Orville. That's where these Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, not
Guys,
Netflix.
let me stop everybody. Let me just stop everybody 1 second, because we got a lot of people in here.
Okay.
Again, just really quick, support JP any way you can, especially tagging Hulu on social media, retweet his stuff, comment on his videos, say that it would be great to have JP as the Orville companion show. That's
Yeah.
what I really wanted to say about that. And I have to welcome somebody else. And I'm going to welcome somebody else, and I'm going to shoot him the new topic. We're going to start with Bird of Prey, with the new topic that I want to discuss. And welcome, Bird of Prey.
Kapla.
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 Kapla, hello world, it's Bird Prey 5.
I must say it's an honor. This is the first time I've been on a stream with Bird of Prey 5. It's great to see you, man. We've chatted so often in the last couple of years that I never got an opportunity to be on a live stream with you. So great to see you.
Glad to be here. Thank
Glory
you.
to you and your house.
Ah, yes. Coward.
Bird, it's such an honor to have you. I want you to kick off the next topic, but tell us really quick what you rated this first.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I rated it like a 10, but like Miss Londell, I'm going to need a couple of days to.
Okay.
Because I was just taken back after, the garbage I've been watching for the last 2 years. I mean, and you got something well written like this. I imagine it's going to be an 8 when I'm all done and whatnot. But right off the bat, it's like 10. It's a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. What I want to address is this. There's been a lot of comments. There's been a lot of comments on the side. Not really. People haven't been really open about it because the show is so fantastic that it's not like people can complain about anything. But there's been a lot of comments on the side about the comedic component and maybe the tone that was very serious. So I want to ask everybody this. I personally think that this first episode is very much to set a foundation, a solid foundation for New Horizons. And I do think that there will be a return to comedy. But I want to ask everybody this. Did you notice the tone change? And did it concern you at all? And I want to start with Bird of Prey. Go ahead, Bird.
Yes, I noticed that there really wasn't much comedy in it at all, but it was a serious issue. You know, the topic being a suicide episode. You know, it's possibly okay that they don't. I'm okay with them not putting humor in with a suicide episode, and no, it really doesn't bother me. If they went completely serious, I would be okay with it. But I think they will have softer moments when it's called for.
Okay, Mr. Lindell, what did you think about it? Did you notice the tone change? What did you think about it? Did it concern you? Do you think the comedic components are coming back?
The tone for this episode, to me, is perfect because of the subject matter. You know, you don't crack jokes when somebody takes their life, or that was. I mean, with Seth, there will be at least comedic moments down the line with the episodes, if not just a full episode where you're rolling on the floor. So maybe Derulio will be in heat again. That was for some strange reason that episode just cracked me up. So, but it's no telling, and he's streaming now, so he doesn't have the censors to worry about that he probably had over at Fox. So yeah, with this one, nothing wrong with the attitude of the episode. It was perfect. I mean, let's face it, I think we all kind of grieved with the doctor when she was sitting in the restaurant. So
for sure. Before I ask Maria, let me just say really quick. In English, that English gent says, you have to remember Seth MacFarlane always wanted to be serious, but he had to compromise with Fox. Now, I would say that I think Seth would have brought some interesting elements to Star Trek if it had been given Star Trek at the beginning. Medallion says, I don't think the show will go full drama, but this was pretty close. Yeah, this was pretty close to being full drama. And I really want to just remind everybody, one of the things that I thought was magic, was lightning in a bottle with regards to the Orville, was that a lot of times when I was watching the Orville season 1 and 2, I always kept thinking about MASH, about the comedy, the drama. And I always thinking about MASH when I was watching the Orville. And I think this first episode was here to say, listen, we're here to stay. We mean business. The Orville means business. We're a serious sci-fi. Stop. Don't compare me with Family Guy or anything like that. We're for real. And I think that's what this episode was saying. And I think we're gonna revisit the more lighthearted elements in other episodes. And with that being said, please, Maria, go ahead. What telenovela did you come from, Maria? That's a nice cowboy hat.
Ay. Está bien curioso. Okay.
The head looks great, by the way. So.
Let me just say before Maria answers, Maria and I, and hopefully a few other friends, we are going to be doing La Nación Orville because El Orville está ahora en todos los países latinos, and we're going to have a lot of new Spanish-speaking fans, and we're going to do a couple episodes in Spanish Maria, myself. Maybe we'll get Polly on board. We'll see. We're gonna have a few guests, and that's gonna be a lot of fun, Maria. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Andale.
In Espanol, we're available. No, I think it was necessary because I think it would have been kind of awkward had they skipped from everything that happened prior to all of a sudden everybody's having a gay old time laughing and joking, and everybody's left with, okay, what happened in that time frame? The reality is there was a grief moment, and there's always a time for laughter and sadness and everything, and this was that time to deal with everything that happened prior, that everybody, human, non-human, are going to have to adjust to what happened. And it was important, I think, for them to deal with it, and they did it in a great way. So I think it will change and become back to where it's lighthearted again too, but we had to kind of face it.
Okay. Really quick before we move on with this question, does anybody think that this reminds Babylon 5 reminds them?
No,
Orville?
no, not even close.
No. But I will say this about you say the tone change. I don't feel a tone change. It was just this episode because of the topic. Just like you brought up MASH. There's actually an episode of MASH where there wasn't a single joke cracked on it. Remember there was this episode where they had to do this surgery, and the whole episode was about that surgery. Yeah, the whole episode was about this surgery. It was serious. That one episode was serious from start to finish. There wasn't a single joke cracked in it.
Let me just say that English gent, you're seeing something here. If you're seeing something from Babylon 5, more that's some comparison, more specific, you want to share with us? That's fine. That's great. Let me just keep going on with this question about the tone. Lord Thoth, tone. Did you notice the difference? Did it concern you? Are you okay with it? Is the comedic component coming back in other episodes? Lord Thoth, are you there? Oh. All right. Well, maybe he stepped away for a second. George, what about the tone and the comedic component? Did you want to comment?
Yeah, it was very clever that Seth snuck in what do you call left thinking ideology into the Orville wherever he can, and in this episode it was actually well placed, and no one really even appreciated or even thought about it. Everyone knows the old rhyme: "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me." Yeah, what does that mean? It means that, okay, so you call me a jerk, you tell me you don't like me or anything like that. Okay, grow some balls. Don't let that statement affect you. Don't let that statement rule your world. Well, this is what happened. A kid said, I don't like you. I don't want you be around me. And he goes off and does something about it.
Yeah,
that's weak left thinking. I got to find myself a safe space. Well, the safe space he found was that he takes himself out. But it's not. I'm not diminishing the concept of what happened in the story. I'm just saying that there is, in every episode that Seth has put out, a hint of what is happening around us in an element, and it's actually staggering that it's so well placed that you got to look for it to appreciate it, and that's what makes a great science fiction and science forward or forward thinking concepts. Go ahead. Go, Bert. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it also came up when Lamar was in bed with that prickly woman.
Yes, absolutely.
And she was trying to say, her beliefs.
Yes.
But at least he put in the other side.
Yes.
That's what we don't get in Trek. We don't get the other side.
Exactly.
I understood what Seth believes, and fine. but he put in the other side,
Yeah.
and that was all I could ask.
Yeah, he literally
Wow.
says, like, you know, he tells her, like, that's messed up, you thinking this way. And then he says it's messed. Then he corrected himself. He said it's messed up where I come from.
Yeah, Bird and Nerd Pearl, I agree. It's very rare we get to see the other side, and it's rare in science fiction, and it is non-existent in current science fiction. It seems that we're only getting one side of things, and Louise X. Sparrow says, I don't agree at all. This wasn't political. It was human. I think it
Yeah.
was very human. I don't see
Mhm.
really much politics involved in this, except for the writers and Seth's beliefs in a certain way. But to be able to put that other side of things in is just so magnanimous. It's just so unique in writing today, where we get to see both sides of the thing, even if it's a small little glimpse, even if it's only 5 minutes of conversation, we get to see both sides. That is great, right?
Yeah,
And,
and it,
You
it
and,
know
brings,
what?
it
The
brings
big
people
pro-
together. It brings people together.
and that's where it leads me saying I believe that the tone of season 3 is going to be much more clever, much more intelligent, because Seth doesn't have the monkey on his back, which was the networks trying to dictate what they think is good.
How do you get more intelligent than what we're getting already, though?
Right.
Oh, you'd be
That's what you have
surprised.
to ask. Okay.
Let me
That's
just
why
say,
I
guys,
think we
that
might have a hard time seeing season 4. I think that this may be antithetical to a lot of what's going on in Hollywood. I think Seth is trying to push his narrative, and I don't know if the corps are going to like it.
I think Disney's going to value this at the end of the day, because it's going to be a financially based decision, in my opinion. But let me
Good
just say
point.
that the fact that so many perspectives are shown, like Medallion says, this is the reality of what life is like. What is not normal is for people just to be associating with just, like, for example, social media is putting people into categories, and you're not being able to associate with the person who thinks different from you.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that multiple perspectives are explored. Absolutely. And I want to continue with this, Lord Thoth and then Nordporial. Did the change of the tone affect you guys at all?
No, I like changing tones. I think that it goes up and down. It goes in waves. It's like the ocean. You go with the flow. Whatever when you're writing a story, you write a story to the characters, and so you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the flow is going to change. If it's a good story, it's going to change up and down. That's what I saw in this. I think the flow is good. It was jarring at times, I must admit, where you get into a big battle scene, then it's a dream, and then it's kind of quiet times, and everybody's talking and yakking, and then bam, it's all about ideology. It's all about Isaac and how the crew hates him, and then it's kind of calm again, and then he kills himself, and then self deletes, and then it goes into this whole diatribe where everybody's kind of mourning and going into moving on without him, and then bam, we come up with a way to fix them, and then so there's a lot of ebbs and flows to this episode. But you know what? That's what I enjoyed about it. I thought it was well written. I thought it was a great story, and at the end of it, I went, man, I want to watch this again.
But was it really a dream? Up until the moment where he saw Isaac, everything else could have been a memory.
Yeah, what I said earlier was, I think, yeah, he woke up as a dream, but I think he was processing the battle and his part in it, and his memories and everything that's going on. It as a veteran, like I've said before, who knows all about PTSD. We process that in our dreams, and sometimes it's very traumatic. And I think that's what made him go and say, I wish you were dead, was because he's processing all this trauma and how it's affecting him, and how it's detrimental to his well-being. He feels awful, he feels off, and he feels that it was because of Isaac, because that's his target, right? He suffered all of this trauma because of what happened in the big battle with the Kalons, and he's looking at something to blame. He's looking at a target, and his whole anger and fear and sleeplessness is aimed at one person, and that came out in what he said, because sometimes we say things we don't feel or truly believe, but we do it because it's trying to heal that scar that we have on our psyche. And I think that's what he did. He aimed at Isaac and said, yeah, I hate you, I wish you were dead. But he really, in the end, we figured out that, well, he didn't really want to see him dead. He just was so hurt and so upset that that's how he dealt with the healing process, right? And his mother and the doctor and the psychologist should have identified that and tried to help that earlier. But this was the process that went through. And it's too bad, because in real life, this happens a lot, where children, young adults, and even adults say things that are truly harmful to the individual. And sometimes that individual makes the only decision they feel is best for everybody around them, which is the wrong decision, and did what Isaac did.
I want to go to Nerdporial. Nerdporial, did the change of the tone? Did you notice it? Did it affect you? What did you think about it? Is the comedic component coming back in following episodes?
Well, I mean, based on the trailer, yeah. I mean, there's good. I mean, they literally say, "May the force be with us." And I mean, if that doesn't make you laugh, I don't know what does. But I feel the show is evolving like a Pokemon. It is evolving into something more. And what Medallion just said, that it was never a parody, is something I totally agree with. Now, I know Fox, they sold it as a parody because, I mean, Seth MacFarlane, I mean, Family Guy, American Dad, and Cleveland Show. He's known for comedy. So I guess that's how they, because, Seth MacFarlane's a known name. They had to sell it that
It
way.
was a no-brainer excuse for marketing. They didn't even do their work.
But to me, this is not a parody. And when people say it's a parody or even a dramedy, I get annoyed. It's a science fiction. There was comedy in the original series. There was comedy in TNG. There was even comedy in DS9. You had the Ferengi episodes. I mean, I laugh continually watching those episodes. So there's comedy. There's a mix of comedy. So with this was the perfect follow-up to Identity Part 2. Because one thing that I noticed they didn't address in the last season, I'm curious, maybe if you guys saw this, was there any indication that Marcus was angry at Isaac in the last season after Identity Part 2? Because I didn't notice it. So
no.
The only reason why I figured out that he's the one that did it, that wrote the graffiti, was because they established that he had nightmares, and then we didn't see Isaac, we didn't see Marcus until then. So
yeah,
that's how we figured it out.
That's great writing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great writing. You have a scene and there's a dagger on the counter, but you never see the dagger for the entire story. That's not good writing. You see the dagger. The dagger's going to be used in the story sometime.
Chekhov's gun, as they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the tone, I loved the whole idea of dealing with anger, dealing with suicide, dealing with hatred, dealing with people that have done something bad. Now, I'll be honest, I never met a serial killer, or I don't know any serial killers. I don't know anyone in the family.
Right here,
I'm
a serial killer.
Or people that have done anything, they committed major crimes.
I know a few.
Liddell knows what I'm saying.
Or I'm gonna put Seth. Seth himself said dealing with someone that caused a certain event in the month of January, which I won't get into. That's how we talked about this episode, and I appreciated the fact that, I mean, on social media, people are continually demonizing each other, and with this high divide, and especially in ideologies, and it seeps into almost every aspect of life, and especially the political side. We're getting more and more divide. I like how we're seeing, once again, we're trying to bring things back together. We're trying to see things from the other side. We're trying to understand how to deal with our emotions. And I really appreciated how they had Charlie. Now, Charlie might come off as unlikable. I did not see that. I actually loved her character. Everything she went through, I could buy into. I was able to get invested in her. And what I want to see going forward, and this is something I said in my stream. I think there's going to be there's going to be another enemy mine type episode, but it's going to be Isaac and her. They're going to be stuck together. They're going to be stuck. They're going to be isolated together.
Yeah.
I see that happening. You heard it from me first, everybody.
Well, that's standard. That's standard writing. You know, you bring in a character, they're tough as nails, and then by the end of the arc, you know, they become a softie. That's a given.
Conflict breeds good stories.
I want to ask Tim. Tim, did you notice the tone change? Did you think anything about it?
Not really. I thought this was the first episode. This was 1 hour and 10 minutes long. It has to be a shebanger. You know, you got to really show what you can do with the next season. And I feel like it's an evolution of the brand. But are they going to get away from the comedy? No, they're not. I'm sure there's going to be some not spin-off episodes, but filler episodes, but there's they're still going to be good, but they're going to be more goofy. So, but I feel like this, Seth really wanted to come out with a bang and show what he can really do. So it didn't bother me the change. It made sense. This seemed like a movie, especially with the runtime. It looked great. I felt like the battles, multi-layered episode, obviously more serious, but there was some comedy, but not much. But no, I'm okay with it.
You guys mentioned before, and I want to go back down in the opposite direction. You guys mentioned before about how it surprised you that when Gordon said that he had, it surprised you a little bit that Gordon said that he had been feeling the same way. And I want to start with Nate going down. Nate, what did that surprise you? Did you feel, did it surprise you? Did that comment surprise you coming from Gordon?
No, it didn't surprise me. And actually, I thought it felt organic and real. And Marcus, too, the way he reacted. It didn't happen all at once. It was the more they got to know how many people they lost, how many ships were destroyed, and the fact that Isaac's been with them. Isaac cut off his leg. They joked with Isaac. He sang to Isaac. So this resentment built up to him, same way it did in Marcus, until Marcus went way too far. But Gordon, he masked his emotions with his humor. So him telling Charlie, yeah, I feel kind of the same way you do. You know, I have to choke it down when I'm on the bridge. And her telling him, well, don't do that. And he looked at her funny when she said that. And you notice he didn't embrace his dark side like she suggested, because he's a professional. He's older. He may be a goofball, but he's still a Union officer. Charlie's young.
Let me go a little bit further with this question, because we've addressed this a lot in Latchcomb, and not only did it surprise you, but do you think that Isaac really betray them? Because maybe Isaac had no choice, and he was just waiting for the moment to play his card. What do you guys?
They reprogrammed him. He got shut off.
Yeah, he's programmed. Yeah,
so I don't think he should be blamed for it all.
Yeah, he did what he was programmed to do.
Which is why Mercer reinstated him. There's no way Mercer reinstates him if it was Isaac all along. I think that the programming took over and he had to do what he did. And that's kind of also, forgive me for saying this, but it's also racial programming. And sometimes, whether it's religious, racial, whatever programming, sometimes we follow our doctrine the way we've been programmed. Even humans do that. And then we just have to get to a point where we go, wait, that's wrong. I'm not doing that anymore. And that's what happened with Isaac, where his programming took over. And he went, wait, this is wrong. I'm not doing that anymore. And that's when he came back to us. That's why Mercer reinstated him, because he said, yeah, you did this wrong. This was wrong. But you figured it out in the end that what you were doing was wrong, and you came back to us.
You guys don't think that... Oh, go ahead, Ms. Lindo.
Just think back to that episode, the debates he had with the Kalon leader. Remember, he went through all of that, showed him a copy of the book Roots and reminded him of how Gordon made him look like Mr. Potato Head. And Isaac had Isaac's explanations for that, all of that. And he kept trying to make the point that, yes, humans did these things, but they have evolved since then. They are still evolving. These are not the same people.
Brilliant.
It was the
Agreed.
Kalon and his programming that was the problem, not Isaac.
Because even Isaac, I remember the crew member that they shut out the airlock. Isaac tried to save him.
Couldn't Isaac be a maturing candidate?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Isaac, if you remember, he was different. He was built specifically for that mission to go out and study.
After the betrayal against the biologicals.
He was like a new model.
So he was not programmed initially with the same fear and hatred as the others, so that he could blend in with the human beings, and study the human beings.
So his programming was more adaptive.
Yeah.
His programming evolved.
And Time Prophet, that's not to preclude the fact that we might see an episode where that evil mode might come back again. Because if the Talons decide that they're going to force download an update into him, that he might not be evil again. And that would make a really interesting episode. And especially if we go endgame where he comes back and controls that programming and reprograms himself to be the normal Isaac that we love. But in the meantime, what happens if he goes evil again? How's the crew going to react to that? So Time Prophet, it should be interesting to see what we get here.
Well, what happens when the day that Isaac becomes the Kalon Prime?
Ooh.
He becomes Kalon Primary.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, and Louise X Sparrow says too, Isaac isn't a member of the Union, he's Kalon. It wasn't the Union he betrayed, it was his whole race. So they just feel right now that he betrayed them. So what's going to happen there? I'm wondering if this attack at the end of the episode where the Kalon said, that's the Orville, we want to destroy them because our traitor is on that ship. There's some other things that he could write into this, like Seth and his team could write into this, where what happens if the Kalons start targeting the Orville because their traitor is on that ship too. I mean, the smorgasbord of great opportunities for writing is just in that character, and that's only one character. I'm a little disappointed we didn't see more Bortus and his opinion on Isaac. We never got that. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
That's a
I'm
good
so
point.
excited.
I'm looking forward to the Mocklin. I can't wait to see what they do.
Did you
with the
guys
Mocklin
notice
this year.
that we didn't even see Clyden?
No.
Yeah. Well, nobody likes Clyden anyway. Let's face it.
I think Clyden's gonna leave. Clyden's gonna go back to Mockless and is gonna leave. There's gonna be a point where it's just gonna be enough is enough.
There's just so much time in that episode,
I just want to add that I only eat pancakes with butter. Okay, just that's
yeah, me too.
I'm sorry, I'm Canadian.
Butter only.
I'm Canadian. We have the best maple syrup in the world. I have to have maple syrup on my pancakes.
Yeah, that's
no syrup.
I like salted caramel.
Peanut butter, that's good on
wait, who's the other Canadian here?
That would be me.
Right on.
I'm an East Coast boy from Nova Scotia, but I'm currently posted to Ottawa, Ontario.
Oh, my sympathies. I'm in Toronto.
Oh, my wife's from Toronto. She's from Scarborough, but she always lectures me on telling people that she's from Scarborough because she says, "Please don't tell anyone I'm from Scarborough."
Why not? Jim Carrey's from Scarborough. So is Mike Myers.
It's like the other side of the tracks for much.
I know.
You just told everybody she's from Scarborough.
Oh, I thought this was private chat. I'm sorry.
Somebody's sleeping on the couch.
I'm a Scarborough boy too.
But I just had a thought when you say anything about the Kalon targeting the Orville because they're traded on it. What if they can track Isaac?
I would be surprised if they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I think
because
can.
the network, that's on network. Of course, there's no way to disconnect from that network. As far as
it kind of makes sense how the Kalon ship dropped out of their I keep forgetting. I keep wanting to say warp speed, but
Quantum drive.
Quantum.
Yeah,
Quantum
from
drive
quantum
is different
space,
from warp because
right there.
the difference between warp drive and quantum drive is that a warp drive is creating a warp bubble that accelerates the vessel in normal space time. Quantum drive actually opens up a quantum dimension in which
Stargate.
that dimension is that is accelerated, and the ship travels through the accelerated dimension, coming out on the other end.
Outstanding.
PJ,
It makes sense
real
that they
quick.
showed up just
Yeah.
as
Go
the
ahead, Maria.
Orville dropped out of quantum drive. It
But
makes
by the
sense.
way,
but even worse, when the Orville went into quantum drive, they chased right behind them. They shouldn't be able to do that. They tracked them through quantum drive. They shouldn't be able to do that. They were following Isaac.
yeah.
What were you saying, Maria? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
Maria?
sorry. I was going to say I have to go to meditation here pretty soon. So, yeah. And Louise, those are British style pancakes. I love making those, and those are good. The best way to have them, you have to have American style pancakes. So you know what we're talking about with butter only. But anyway, oh my God,
Can
this
you
cat's
tell us-
heavy.
Tell us what's coming up in your channel, and give us one more look at the future Bridge Cat or the
Bridge Cat.
Orville.
He's sleeping, and he is so heavy. My chest is like I can't breathe. Look at how big he is. He's ginormous.
That's a big kid.
Anyway, he is heavy. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do my celebration, and I'm hoping to see you all there. I'm hoping I have possibly a excellent guest lined up. If he's not traveling at the time of my show, one of the actors.
Do you
from
want to
Dark
tell
Matter.
us what show this guest is from?
He's from Dark Matter,
Okay.
and
Oh.
so yeah, so we're working out the details, and I have Radio Joe is going to be there. And so I think I'm just going to do it's a celebration of you guys, not me. So, but for getting there. Anyway, oh my God, he's heavy. I can't breathe.
What time's the show, Maria?
Sorry, he's taking him oxygen here. It depends on when my guest is available. He's also Canadian, so I'm trying to go off his time. And so I'm not sure. I'm going to announce that later. I'm going to talk with him in a bit. But yeah, so I'm going to do that on Friday, and just lots of fun stuff coming up for next month. I don't have Tracy here to break it all down. I have an author coming. Just lots of stuff. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Maria, so much for dropping in, and and check out her. She's actually doing videos where the cat is actually auditioning for the Orville Bridge Cat. So you
He's
check out
working
her
on
channel.
it. He's getting up there. Oh my God, he's so heavy. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, thanks for having me on, George. It was finally good to be in the same room with you.
Oh, I think we were on before together.
Oh yeah, we have. It's been a while though.
Yeah, it's been a long. Yes, it's been a long.
Yeah, and I keep wanting to come on your show in the evenings. I'm so sorry. It's just this time I do my meditation stuff, so I'm gonna get to that. But it's so nice to see all of you gentlemen. Always so good.
Yeah, but when you leave us, this whole panel's going to get a whole lot ugly.
Oh, it is not. Y'all are some awesome people. Hush up.
Great to see you, Maria.
So funny.
Maria, La Nación Orville. We start soon.
Nomás dime, ahí voy, ahí estoy, and I'll be there to get it ready. And I think Time said, "Is there going to be subtitles?" I think we should have subtitles.
We're working on the details for that. So because we want people to be able to watch it. So we might just be very bilingual. So
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what we do.
Be very bilingual. So thank you so much, PJ, for letting me join. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Maria.
See you
Right, have fun, but keep it legal.
Always. You guys are funny.
I appreciate that. Keep it legal.
I do want to before we move on, guys. I do want to George. Can you show us again how the saucer section separates, and tell us again what the ship is we're looking at?
Oh, it's in. Give me a sec. I don't have the book in front of me. Oh, yeah, it's too big.
By the way, I've
okay.
seen an animation of this, and go ahead.
Okay, this ship is in my books. Joking book, issue 20 and 21 of my comic book, 22 also. So the concept is this: this is the warp ring right here. Right. This is the actual propulsion, which, by the way, NASA is talking about a warp ring since 2013, and they're devising their spaceship on this concept here. Right. Okay. So the reason why my spaceship has wings is they're going so fast that it seems like space is liquid. That's how fast they're going. Now, there's a separation here, but between the saucer section and the back part. Now, the thing is, this is not a big ship. This is the size of 3 Winnebagos. It's very small. In fact, in here, it's very crowded. And of course, these are turbos. You know, you got it's a hot rod. You got to have some turbos here, and of course the headlights. And this is what it looks like from the back and underneath. And right now, I'm actually working on finishing one last ship for the customers, because I saw there was an impurity with one of the ships, so I said, "Screw it! I'm going to be putting a brand new one together."
To be honest, that's what the Enterprise should look like. The NX-01 should look something similar to that.
Give me a sec. Let me see if I can pull the actual book down from the shelf. Oh, yes. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta put this here. Pull this back. Pull this back. All right. You see how this is the book. This is how big the book is. I mean, I can't even fit into my screen.
That's great, George. By the way, guys, I got a copy of this coming to me. I would support George's. George, can you put up a link to this?
GeorgePeterGadgets.com. Just go there. Okay. Everything's there. The book is also available on the plushie campaign that's available, which you can click on the GeorgePeterGadgets.com. It's big, and in fact, the spaceship itself is right there. It's in the book. What's that?
Medallion is right, by the way. It does remind me of Vulcan ship with the rings. Actually, that's a good point.
Yes, without the wings and all that stuff.
Awesome. So GeorgePeterGatsis.com. I'm going to put up.
Well, the campaign the campaign for the book right now is only available. You can get the book through Lunga's plushie campaign, which you go to GeorgePeterGatz.com. It will link to the Indiegogo campaign, and you can get the plushie plus the custom book in the campaign that has book 1 and book 2 together. It's really big. It's huge. Oh, awesome. and by the way, PJ, take me off the screen. Take me off the screen. This Friday and Saturday is my 1-year anniversary of roasting movies.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah. 1 year of consistently Friday nights and Saturday nights roasting movies. We haven't missed an episode. We haven't missed a day. It's absolutely fabulous. 1 year.
Congratulations. That's great. Yeah, it started kind of like an MSK3 type thing, but it's evolved to your own style. So congrats, man.
Yeah. We every movie we have on screen. You don't have to sync up to it like everybody else does. We literally have the movie on screen and you're watching it whilst we're roasting it. And I also clean up the movies. I clean up the video and the audio for every movie that we're presenting.
That's right. I think somebody has a television on in the background, maybe, or there's some background noise from somebody. If you can mute yourselves until you talk, thanks. All right, guys. Well, I'm not gonna go too much further, but I wanted to get some final impressions on this first episode, and what do you guys expect from the second episode? Let's start at the bottom with Bird.
Well, just rethinking the humor situation, I think there's probably more than I thought. It wasn't, traditional humor like joke telling, but I mean that prickly woman, the fork as a gift, the fact that that character was in engineering who supplied Bordis with a fancy simulator program last season, that he was still around. I mean, those was all humor. So maybe there was more humor than I thought. It just wasn't,
I think it was also a very long episode compared to what it used to be like. So there was probably dashes of humor in the. It just didn't feel as much because it was a longer episode, perhaps. But,
I mean, so there was definitely some. As for where the next week is going, I think that and I don't know. Maybe you guys know, and I'm wrong. But I feel like at some point this season, I thought it would be at the beginning, but maybe it's coming up, that they're going to be sent off on a long exploratory mission, and they're not going to be.
Let me show you. Let me show you the thumbnail for next week. But go ahead, Bert, while you keep talking.
So my thought was, because it seemed like they were ready to. I don't know, from what we had seen, I thought they were going to get the go. You guys are going off on a mission past where we've past explored space, and they weren't expected to be back for 2 or 3 or 5 years. I don't like a 5-year mission, if without getting too close to Trek. And they were going to, head forward for 3 years and then come back or something. So I don't know.
Okay, and let me just show the so you guys can see the thumbnail for next week. The Orville explores mysterious region of space.
That's pretty much what Bird said.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, for me it would be like, okay, goodbye. They'd have a send off, and they don't expect to return back to Union space for 5 years.
That would make sense because, budget wise, they can't maintain the same level of budget that they've done in this episode and every episode.
Also, I just think for drama and there's got to be some. You can't come back to base every week and be fixed up and be like, okay, well, ready to go again. All's new. I think there's something to be said when the ship is on its own.
There's more dangers.
Yeah, and this was a refit. Okay, it was not, so you're probably right, Bert. They're bulking up the ship to do a long mission.
I mean, they said they had this ship almost up to the power of a heavy cruiser. It's like, well, so now you could really go just about anywhere.
Go ahead, Lord Thoth. What are your final thoughts on this episode, and what about next week?
It's really hard to follow Bird of Prey.
Come on, I barely.
No, you're awesome, man. I love you. I think that really what we're going to have is a little bit more a lighter kind of adventure episode. We had a really dark, what can I say, character-driven moment with the last episode. It was very thematic and very much about mental health and everything going on in the world today. So it was a very heavy episode. I think it's going to be a little bit more about what we've grown to love about Star Trek. When I say pre 2009 episodes, I think that we're going to see some adventure. They're going to push the boundaries of human existence. They're going to do some fun finding out about new life, new civilizations, boldly going kind of stuff. I think that's what's going to happen for probably the next 2 or 3 episodes. And then we're going to start getting into deeper, darker stuff again. If Seth is what I think he is with his team, the great writers that are a part of the show, they're going to show us some really cool stuff in the next couple episodes, and that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Great, Mr. Lindell, what about you? Final thoughts on this episode, and what about next week?
Next week, okay, no predictions or anything. I'm going to let Seth take me where he's going to take me.
By the way, Mr. Lindell, a lot of us were right about. A lot of us had speculated about Charlie Burke's antagonism with Isaac, and it was interesting that we were spot on with that. Many of us.
Well, you could kind of call that. I mean, a lot of people would be looking at him as the enemy. Think back to what happened after Pearl Harbor. Okay, so that's a natural human thing. So,
yeah.
As for this episode, gotta watch it again. Good thing the weekend's coming up, so I gotta watch it a couple more times. Then you can ask me about. Then I can give it a good grade.
Okay.
It's already like high 90s already. So.
George, final thoughts on this episode, and any thought on next week?
If we haven't seen a big bad in the next 2 episodes, then the big bad again is Isaac's homeworld, and I think they're going to be leading up to something extraordinary by the end of the season. Because the first skirmish last season was an extraordinary event. But again, that was a skirmish, and like the Borg, it was just barely getting out of it alive. And if the danger persists, which I think it will, with Isaac's homeworld, I think the game is going to be increased. We could see Isaac's world actually in motion, as if you will, as some sort of Unicron.
Great. Nerdporial, any final thoughts on this week, and what about next week?
Sure. I thought this first episode was a great way to continue the story started in Identity Part 2 and basically Season 2 in general. I was happy with the new character Charlie. I liked how everybody was. I like how majority of the characters were in this episode. It was cool to see Yafet. It was bittersweet. It had a nice little beginning where they showed, in memory of Norm Macdonald. The whole thing with Marcus and the whole thing with Isaac and how everyone was affected. I love that type of writing. I love adding nuance and just showing consequences for actions, which I feel is lacking in a lot of shows now. They don't really show consequences for particular actions. So I'm happy with how it ends. I want to see more of Charlie. I want to see her character grow. I want to see Isaac. I want to see her and Isaac's relationship improve because I want to see an optimistic future. And next week's episode, Shadow Realms. Well, there was a. I was just watching the trailer while everyone else was talking. There was like a clip or a frame of them in a very dark space, and there was like a glowing, looked like a space station or something. I'm curious if this is that episode, or maybe it's the one where the Krill are like, you can go through our space, but don't expect us to rescue you. I'm curious. But the one I really want to see is the one that's going to have Captain Sheridan himself, Bruce Boxleitner, and that other actress that is no longer with us. And they're like in this little prequel looking space chase. I want to see. I kind of want to see that little city chase that they had that they
Yeah.
showed in the trailer. I want to see that. I know that's not gonna be next week, but I want to see that one pretty much.
Is that Mira Furlan? Is that Delenn? No, wait. Who's
No,
the
it was
actress
a
you're
different.
talking about?
It was a different actress, but I heard she passed away.
She passed away. Yeah, I forget her. Her name was.
Ivanova.
Hold on a second.
No, Claudia Christian's still around.
No, she's passed away.
It's no one in. I don't think it's anyone in Babylon 5.
No, I hold on a sec. I forgot her name. Let me just. Go ahead. Meanwhile, go ahead, Kylo, Tim. Thoughts on final thoughts on this episode and.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. What a great opening to start a new season. And far as predictions, based on the name Shadow Realm, I feel like it's going to be a couple episode thing, more like what we were saying. They're going to be exploring, but there's going to be a catch to the Shadow Realm. Like they're going to get stuck, or there's something's going to come up. Like it's not everything's going to seem the way it seems. So, and they're going to have to like mentally solve this in some sort of way. How to get out of the Shadow Realm. So, yeah.
Could be, yeah.
I'm sorry. Date, please.
Well, this episode I liked a lot. I thought it was great character building. It was a character-driven narration. And I think the next one, they're going to end up going to basically realm of space with no stars. Kind of like when the Enterprise was trapped by Nagilum. Which, by the way, Nagilum and, what's the episode? Remember the aliens that crawled inside the mouth, took over the body? What's the episode called? We seek peaceful coexistence. Those are two loose ends they could have made movies about when they were making Next Generation movies, and they didn't touch it. They just left the man hanging.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, conspiracy.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let me just to say thank you all for being here, guys, and let me just do a quick rundown of everybody who's got an active channel. If starting, well, Nate, you're not active yet, are you?
Not yet, but this month. I'm telling you, this month. You'll be looking for my tweet.
Awesome. So we're looking for that. By the way, her name was Lisa Baines. This is her. She passed away. She got like hit by did she get hit by a motorcycle or something?
Oh man.
In Manhattan. Very sad. Very sad. Tim, what's next on your channel?
Unfortunately, the next thing on the channel, Sunday, 7:35 p.m. ET or 7:40, we're going to be talking about Kenobi Episode 3. I was really hoping, I'll say my thoughts with that. But, consistently on Sundays, we'll be doing the Kenobi streams. We just covered Top Gun. That was a pretty fun stream. I absolutely love that movie. It's what cinema should be. But, yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a great time.
Thank you all.
Atmosphere.
Thank you all. Nerdporial, go ahead. What's next on your channel?
PJ, once again, thank you for having me on your channel. I just simply asked. I wasn't sure if I was going to get an answer. So once again, grateful. I'm not worthy.
No,
I'm not worthy.
It was great to meet you meet you. I haven't streamed with you.
Next on my channel, my next video project, which I'm currently working on editing, and I got like 42 minutes more of editing work to do. Doing a Mario 64 retrospective, so expect that hopefully in a few days. My next stream is actually going to be tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about season 4 of Stranger Things, volume 1, the first 7 episodes. That was such a great season. I would definitely recommend, if anyone is a fan of 80s horror or 80s science fiction or the 80s in general, watch Stranger Things. This new season just took what the first 3 seasons did and dialed it up to 11. Get it? 11.
Oh yeah, they did that. Yeah, yes, they did.
Yeah.
So that's
I
my
see
next.
what you did there.
So that's my stream for Friday. And then Sunday, I plan to resume my Trekporial with Brandon, the anime guy. We're going to talk about the O'Brien. We're going to talk about our top 5 O'Brien Must Suffer episodes of Deep Space Nine. So so that would be episode 6. So I started my own little Trekporial series talking about best different aspects of Trek, and I'm looking for guest stars, people that have watched Trek and have their opinions on what they really like and stuff. And I just love to have the conversation. So, yeah.
Awesome, George. Thank you, George. What is next on your channel?
Every night we do a 1 hour news roundup of the day. Every night, Saturdays
You're
and
turning
Sundays.
into like an addict, a streaming addict.
Well, yeah, I looked around to see what's going on, and I think I found my niche. We do the movie nights Fridays and Saturdays, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. We got a lot of great movies, serials. We cut the serials into epic 2-hour movies. Clean up the movies, all that stuff. I mean, it's a lot of the audience watches us because of the roasting. And as we watch the movie, we roast it all to hell. I mean, there's nothing left in that movie that we haven't roasted. Even the clothing and the hairstyle that the actors sport. But every night, 10:00, we do a roundup of the news every day, and all we're doing right now is just looking for subs to get to that 1,000 mark. We hit the 4,000 mark. We were roasting Amber Heard in Johnny Depp trial. We're the only channel on the internet that was roasting the Amber Heard Johnny Depp. Everybody else was just sitting there listening to.
That's right. You guys were roasting it.
Everybody talking while we were there, just complaining and bitching and all that stuff. It was glorious. It was absolutely glorious. So if just come by my channel and just hit us up and help us get to that 1,000 mark. So appreciative.
Awesome.
And thank you, Orville for Nation, PJ, for having me on this channel talking about Orville. It was amazing.
Well, it's good to see you lost some weight there, George. And Mr. Lindell, what's next on your channel?
Right now, all of my content is over on good God, I can't even think. Odyssey. I don't have anything on YouTube right now. It's all the late night, really bad B movies that you grew up watching as a kid after Saturday morning cartoons. I've grown to love those movies. And so when I find them, they're in the public domain, I stick them on my Odyssey channel. I put the link in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm putting it up. And I've enjoyed that very much, Mr. Lindell. And I've kind of missed the fact that you aren't on YouTube, because you're not on YouTube right now, right?
Right, I'm not. I'm thinking of coming back. I don't know yet. We'll see.
But
I got to do something different.
Both you and George are taking public domain content and putting it on your channels. I think that's a fantastic idea, and it's very. Yeah. We've always had a lot of fun, both on Mr. Lindell's channel and George Petergatz's channel.
Oh, it's not easy because a lot of the movies that they say are public domain, they're not, and because corporate accounts pretending to be grassroots accounts.
Yeah.
They stick their movie in a group of other public domain movies, and you try to stream it or copy it onto your channel. Of course, make your own. Variation of what's going on, since I'm roasting it, but they would actually copyright claim or strike you down.
Yeah, that just got crazy. So
yeah, it's very tricky. There's a lot of preparation work that we do for our Friday and Saturday show.
Guys, make sure you're subbed to all these channels. We grow together, guys, and supporting each other is really important. Thank you, Mr. Lindell, for being here. Thank you all for being here, of course. And Mr. Lord Thoth. Thank you. You now do you have an active YouTube channel or not?
No, it's not quite active. Although my wife keeps bugging me to do stuff together. She wants to do something, so we're considering that. But my raison d'etre is to help everybody else out and drop in when I can, help out in the chat, be part of the chat, and that's the best part of any channel is the chat, because all the members in the chat always have a lot to say, and I appreciate that. And I'm here to drop in whenever I can to chat about some of the stuff that I love, like the Orville, which was awesome. But yeah, we're planning on doing something maybe soon. I'm staring down retirement here anytime, and I'm just then I have to decide what I want to do with my life. And you know what? YouTube's been pretty awesome, and all I'll say is I happen to be a small part of a little group of 2 or 3 people that show up on Friday Night Tights. Gary Beekler and his crew there have some good times on Friday nights. I also want to shout out to Clobberin Times on Saturday night, where we talk about classic Star Trek. That's a lot of fun on 9 o'clock Eastern time. But there's a lot of great channels out here. I could keep going and going and going. But what I wanted to say is, PJ, I love what you've been doing with your channel the last couple of years. It's been unbelievable. Great content, some fun chats, and some big stars that have showed up, and including a certain personality that was the showrunner for Dark Matter and did some Stargate stuff. I love his work, and I love what you've been doing. And every single member of this channel tonight that was here, thank you very much for signing up and becoming a member. Those of you out there just in the channel, in the chat, thank you for joining us on this journey. And every single member of this panel, it has been an absolute honor and a privilege to be here with you all and listening to your takes on this great show and all the other stuff that we're dealing with in pop culture today. So thank you for letting me be a small part of it. I look forward to chatting with you again real soon.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your kind words, Lord Thoth. And I think that most of us, I think I speak for the whole panel when I say that we look forward to your channel. I think
Thank
so.
you. I'm honored.
And Bird of Prey, we saved my fellow New Yorker, Bird. I'm totally serious about you and me going someplace and who knows in the city. I'm not going to give specific areas, but someday we should pick a restaurant and just stream from there.
I'm good with that. It have to be one closer to my house, but
that's cool. I love your area. Pick a good, nice Italian restaurant.
Sure.
What's coming up on Bird of Prey?
Well, Fridays we have Bed Life. That's where I basically say hello to everybody and talk about what's gone on all week. And this week, it's going to be a lot of Orville and other sci-fi series.
There is no other sci-fi.
There is, but it's not as good.
Now, I just want to say that everybody, Bird was telling us that the Orville had been canceled, but Bird was being just very technical.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, he was right that it finished on one network and has started up on another network. So anybody who has been messing with Bird for the last 3 years,
everybody
has been. What did you say, Mr. Lindell?
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Listen, it's okay. I was happy to be somewhat wrong. I mean, I said that it could get picked up by Hulu, and it did. So,
speaking of that, has anyone here watched the Popcast? They did the Orville, and they started a petition.com for people to sign a petition for Hulu to renew the Orville.
Oh, you mean just now?
Yeah, they did that today, and I tweeted it
I
out.
haven't seen it yet. No.
You should see it on Twitter because I tagged you in on it too. But
Thanks.
They need to get like 2,500 some signatures, and when I signed it, it was always like 1,600 and something.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Listen, we're definitely going to get more Orville, but we need to back. All we need to do is back production on social media, like Nate is saying, and we will get, because I think Seth wants to make more Orville, and I think the whole production crew wants to make more Orville.
Yeah, because we can't all be on. Yeah, we all can be on YouTube complaining about what this stuff they're trying to shove down our throat. When we get something good like the Orville, we need to, like we did today. Look at us today. Today, one episode, we talked over almost 3 hours about one episode of good stuff. That's the kind of conversation I would like to have.
Yeah, and we don't walk away with that weird feeling about having been complaining for 3 hours, right?
Exactly.
I know, right?
Yeah, whenever somebody bring up
talk about Kenobi.
Yeah, it's a good thing they didn't drop. It's a good thing they didn't drop the entire season in one drop, because then we'd be here for weeks.
Oh man.
Yeah, my wife be yelling at me right now.
That would be such a huge mistake. Yeah, to drop everything at once for the Orville anyway would be a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they didn't. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I had a lot of fun. The fact that you guys were here for so long, thank you so much. Hey, John Burns is sneaking in here at the end. Good to see you, John. That's Bird Prey's channel, guys. Make sure you're subbed to Bird Prey. Thank you, guys. I want to say hi. Thank you again, Nate, Tim, Mr. Lundell, George, Nerdporial, Lord Thoth, Bird of Prey, Maria, everybody, Cap, everybody who was in here before. Galinda, Mr. Grant Gregory, Nitpickers, John Burns, John DeMarco, Medallion, everybody who has been in and out, Prophet. I'm going to miss so many people. Star Trek actor Mike Satterfield. Mike, we're going to have you back soon whenever you're ready with your computer. We need to have you back. Tim Possible is everywhere, dude. He's just everywhere. Pollo Zapatos. Guys, the Writer Brothers, you want to check out the Writer Brothers. That's a new channel of writers that get together and talk. That is a great channel. So thank you, everybody, for being here. TT sneaking in there. Who else do I see here before we go?
What's up, TT? My brother from down under.
Yeah, Todd, thank you so much. Todd is a great help in the chat. Medallion too is a great help in the chat. You guys with the details about the Orville, Rapunzel, Louise, everyone. Thank you guys, everyone. Have a blessed day. Next week we have and the title of the episode for next week. Let me just confirm it. The title was Shadow Realm.
Shadow Realm.
So, but listen, we're going to be doing a lot more to talk. We're going to be doing a lot of streaming this week. We got an episode of reaction to this episode in Spanish that we're going to be doing in Espanol and maybe a little bilingual. And June 15th is the scheduled day for the first community stream, for the first member stream for that June 15th. So I'll be putting info out on that. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome day. Many blessings.
Vayas con Dios.